sun is descending, the moon is approaching, and the crowd is gone. It seems like nobody is interested to carry on. Well, this time is like a wooden shack after a storm. Not a band nor a mass is around to perform. All I can see is some broken old bottles so far. An indication
the carnival is over. Welcome to episode 131 of the Query Shepherd podcast. Welcome back to all the people who've been listening. Welcome to all the new listeners. Carnival done. Listen, as much as I love Carnival and thing, I just be kind of happy when this thing done, you know. Because the toll that I rode is take on my feet and my well-being and my health and my liver. It's be bad, you know. So as much as people like the Carnival and thing, we're going to do a Carnival wrap-up, but after today, I don't want to hear not more Carnival until next year. And Olive, please stop posting all them Carnival pick on IG and thing. I'm fed up see people in Carnival thing. It's over. Let me just celebrate the fact that it's done.
Where is all that music that sounded so terrific? I would like to know.
Good question. Where was all the music that was sounding terrific this year? I don't know.
The sweet, sweet saxophone, the pan and the trombone and so.
I ain't seen nothing like that on the road.
What is wrong? Like the tourists and all disappear.
It look like it's the same this year.
Not a clown, nor a buck can be seen anywhere. Can't hear the sound of a drum or a bass, a guitar. An indication the carnival is over.
Hey, welcome to the Carnival wrap-up. This is a wrap-up and synopsis of what the Carnival brought, you know what I mean? Carnival 2023. The mother of all carnivals. I want to know how you enjoy all the carnival time. All had a good time? The fete is over. Time to go back to work. We like to extend this fete too far, you know. I want to go back to the days where Carnival Tuesday have a last lap and people go home and that is it. It went from a last lap to a last lap party after the road. Now it's a last jam. Anyhow, let me start at the beginning. Because I hear from Ole and see Ole in a long time. And I just want to wrap up my little fete season coverage until our Carnival weekend went. Because I talked to Ole since before Carnival weekend. So let me start the wrap up dinner. I just want to say about the early fetes, right? The early fetes this year. And I get plenty feedback from people in terms of which fete was good, what was up, what was down. One thing we sure about that in the mother of all carnivals, the January fetes was struggling a little bit. I think the January fetes see a little bit of hard times. And this showing us something, right? This carnival, this closed mentality that we have about carnival, where it had to be we and it's we thing and thing. We need people who come in this country for carnival to be successful, you know. Commercially successful, that is, right? The event's not going to be as big, the road not going to be as full without people coming in. As with any good product you have to be able to export it to the world if you really want a global product. Forgive me, my podcast and I'm starting to sound more and more like the classes are doing, and right now I'm doing a class on globalization. So my apologies up front. But I think Trinidad and Tobago Carnival as a product is too good a global product for us to try to keep it tight like that and don't want to expose it. And January versus February, or January versus those last 2 weeks before Carnival, showing us something. Where all-inclusive tickets and thing was selling outside the thing. I'm pretty sure when I went soca, the first one, I feel like plenty complimentary giveaway. Was here in fete cancelling and bus fete and them kind of thing. But by the time you come down to the last weekend Carnival, I do a little bit of fetting. I was telling all about Fatima and Different. Both of them could probably see me again next year. And after that, Carnival weekend is my week I really like to fet. Now, I have to confess, right? I don't like fetting during the week too much. I just feel a little bit guilty. So I had beach house on my mind and farmhouse and these kind of fetes. Carnival Friday was my birthday. Happy birthday to I. You know what I mean? And while I had to happy birthday to my daddy. I recorded while it's his birthday. You know what I mean? It's February people. And just a common misconception, eh? Kitchener had a song called Canaval Baby, which Alison Hines remake, right? And I want always to stop calling people who born in February Carnival babies. When you're born on a Carnival week or you're born Carnival Day or Carnival Friday is your birthday, is not a Carnival baby. The song goes, you conceive in February, not you're born in February. So you can add 9 or 10 to February and you will tell me which part you end up. Carnival baby is born in November and thing. According to Scrunter, Carnival child and no father. But it's November. Carnival babies is born in November. It is what your mother and your father, if he's still around, was doing in February and make a Carnival baby or during Carnival. And check back some of them who born in December too, and all of you born in December and thing. Check back to see if the Carnival was in March that year. You go find out if you was a Carnival baby or not. The mother and father meet on the road and they conceive you on the land stop. But that week I stay home. I don't like the feeling now. My whole team working and everybody out there and I fetting. And I also don't like the idea of bouncing up people in a fete and them kind of thing who's supposed to be working. Let people duck work in peace. You can't go duck work and have people ducking in real life, right? So I stay out of that. Carnival Saturday I was going brainwash. But to tell you the truth, right? There's 2 partners of mine. Salute my boy, Colonel King, the great Jimmy, and Many Faces. That's my squad, right? Don't ask no questions about people's name, right? They tell my boy, Carnival Friday is your birthday and doing nothing Carnival Friday. He say, all right, Carnival Friday is for Stacy. Saturday, we're going up in the brainwash. By that time, brainwash tickets is about 250 US. And I sit down on this thing for 2 years, maybe, saying that I'm never going back brainwash. But I just wanted to let me know that I was here and prepared to go brainwash. But I do the thing that 40-year-old introverts do at times, right? I have everything ready to go. But I stay home and I say, if they may call, me I call it. Stacy, I had class the morning from about 10 to 12 o'clock, whatever time the class was. And Stacy was working in Picnic on the same day. I think that was an air committee fete. According to her, the fete was real good. Picnic might be something I end up in at some point in time. So little boy Andre Lewis, I see a bunch of press men went out in Picnic and have a time. This time I've been only following WhatsApp stories and Instagram stories to see what's going on. But I don't even want to be on WhatsApp too much for Jimmy and Many Faces to see that are online to call me. But just like 40-year-olds themselves, neither of them I call. I didn't think I talked to either of them since. And that was the best birthday gift I could have possibly get. There's some R&R on Carnival Saturday, and this is when you know you officially get old. This whole episode have an old man theme running through it. So if you're young and you enjoy your Carnival and you want a young people Carnival wrap up, you're looking in the wrong place. It's an old man Carnival wrap up. I got myself a good night rest Carnival Saturday night, and I had tickets for both Soca Street Festival and Breakfast Is. Now at this point, Stacey reached home late the night from Picnic, right? And she looked like she was doing a little more sipping than working. I feeling like I wonder if Adrian and them, who responsible, who on your committee? Is there anybody on your committee we know who could report that the staff is drinking all the profit in the fetes? I don't know. But she come home a little bit nice. And me and my boy Jade, so my boy Jade was here taking a few sips. Jade, come and check me this Saturday, Carnival Saturday, and take a few birthday sips right home here. Best birthday party ever, where you could sit down in your own garage and drink your own little liquors. I like it a lot. And by the time I take them 2 little sips, now my foot shaking, my foot twitching, I feeling like I could go somewhere, but I don't want to come up the road. I'll tell you, it's a big difference when you're living in St. James or you're born and grew up in St. James or anywhere in town or in the West, right, for Carnival time. Because you just feel a certain spirit, you know, they say spirit calling you. When you're in St. James, that spirit is calling you. But when you're in Shogunas, that spirit don't be calling you. The places be quiet and peaceful. You don't hear a music truck. You ain't hear no smoky and bunty blasting, no music or nothing. You ain't seen people dress up to go away. You're in your house and you're good. So I was enjoying them little sips Saturday night, but then the bugs started to bite, man. I had to figure out now if to go Soca Street Festival or Breakfast Is, right? I haven't been to Breakfast Is in maybe 3-4 years and Soca Street Festival in just as long. And if it's anything this year, teach me. Next year for sure, I'm not going back the same list of fetes again. I'm looking for different fetes. And have different experiences. You see that meet back in the same fete, go in the same spot, drink the same things, tell the same jokes. That getting a little bit boring. So I miss Rise and Rose. I will definitely be there next year. That is one not to miss. But I ain't feel like going back soca or this year I went different and Fatima and breakfasts. I'll probably switch them up. Maybe not. I don't know. But Soca Street Festival seemed to be one of the more coveted tickets for the carnival, right? And I salute my boy Sheppy, Bev, Kyrie people, right? I could never get all Kyrie people name right? Sheppy and them, Kyrie people. Because I know what Breakfast gives. And the fact that Breakfast was in a different venue this year, it was calling me because I like the vibes and the venue change and thing. One of the things I didn't like about the stadium, I know people like the shade, right? Kyrie people like the shade of a breakfast party, which is good. Kai can't take the sun. But what I didn't like is, as a man, when I go and fete, especially that Carnival weekend, on my birthday weekend, I want to be bareback in front of the stage. And one of the issues with that venue is that when you're bareback in front of the stage, you are real far to walk and real people to go through to get by the bar to get a drink. And then you ain't sure to be able to fight to get back up in front of that stage when you get a drink. So it's been kind of sour for me. But this year they had it in the paddocks in the savannah. So I wanted to check that out. I wanted to see what happened there, what the new version of breakfast is looking like, bigger venue and everything. But I kind of want to go Soca Street Festival and see people wet down, and I was like that vibe. I'm frightened now because if I get bait down and get sick again, I can't make you on the road. So I decided last minute that I'm going to sell my Soca tickets because I know that was sell easy. And I studying now how to tell my good partner Damien, who was organizing these tickets for me every year. Salute to Damien and Crystal from Graphic House. He's always organized my tickets something, and I'm trying to figure out now how to duck him without letting him know I'm ducking him. So I went and sleep Saturday night, and I wake up early, 2 o'clock breakfast party time, really to message Damien to say, here what's going on. Let me come and check you for the tickets and thing because Stacy looking like she can't make, so I want to go down by the venue early and so I could make sure I sell Stacy ticket. And then I was going to sell the both tickets because I would have done put it on Facebook already and have somebody to buy them 2 tickets that all the morning. That would be good. And stay in St. James from there. But much to my delight and surprise, when I called Damien say, boy, you take so long to get back to me as if you come in or what, I don't sell them tickets. Because Damien, like, he didn't realize I don't transfer the money to him for the tickets. So that was perfect for me. Which means Damien is sending me back my money. And I out of the soca. So I take our next 5. And with that 5, it was daytime. By the time I wake up, it was about 8 o'clock in the morning. So I hustle and dress. I asked Stacey if she wants to go still. She ain't going nowhere. Went up in breakfasts. And I'll tell you. Breakfast is still what it is, even though the venue changed. The vibes at our party, and this is what I was saying in the last episode about different. It's not just Kyrie people, the promoters, it's the actual Kyrie people that make these fets good. You see Kyrie people coming out looking nice, they come into fete and have a good time. The sun was bothering some people, but they do a little canopy thing and people was under the shade for the most part. And this Carnival Sunday, they had a little cloud cover that make the fete not too hot anyway. So if next year they probably put more cover because when the sun come out hot, it was a little fight for space under that canopy. I was fighting with people too. But I will say that it gives what it usually gives. It was short lines to get food, plenty food available. And remember, all these fete reviews I doing while I reach real late to the fete breakfast. This must start 4 o'clock in the morning. I talk more 9 o'clock and think I know reach. So I get food real easy. Again, drinks easy. Everything I was drinking it with vodka and soda, nothing fancy, right? But everything was available. The bar running smooth and running fast, so it had no complaints there. And I understand Voice came and performed, which I'm sorry I missed that. It means that I went through the whole carnival season really without seeing Voice anyway. I miss him in Fatima. I'm not sure if he was indifferent, but if he was, I miss him. And I miss him in no, actually I see him in the first soca. I've seen him in the first soca, but he performed like literally one song. But I missed that set. But by the time I came, Roy Cape came on. And I will say that, again, when Roy Cape came on in breakfasts, you could feel the absence of blacks in the carnival. Blacks is a special kind of dude, right? Because blacks have a way of taking any type of event and making it into a memorable event. There are few people who have a connection with the crowd that blacks has, right? When blacks come on with Roy Cape, it's no visiting the bar, it's no lining by the food place. Blacks getting everybody to come up and fete. And when blacks on a stage singing, you just feel like blacks singing to you. And when he talking and making a little joke, and you just feel like blacks talking to you. He have a connection with that crowd that is real hard to match. and his absence was felt. You know what I mean? I mean, his presence was felt and his absence was felt, and you could see where breakfasts, especially as an event that was anchored by Blacks and Roy Cape or the All Stars, sorry, for many, many, many years. That was the first time I felt some sense of lack in breakfasts when it come out there and Blacks wasn't there. But what I will say is, you see that you they call College Boy Jesse? College Boy Jesse is a bad, bad, bad youth. And I'm sorry I don't know the woman name who performing with him because she's a star too. I was asking her wrong her name, but by that time I into some vodka to her, so a few people will tell me the name. I can't remember. But whoever is that other lady who's singing with should I say lady? I'm making people sound old. But the woman who's singing with College Boy Jesse as the lead of All Stars, she's a star because College Boy Jesse holding it. But it's so unfortunate because he being compared to Blacks. And you could see people basically coming out and saying, boy, think Blacks, he careful black shoes. I wonder if College Boy Jesse shouldn't have wait. Let somebody else take that work first. Because it's almost like whoever come next after Blacks go fail and then take the job after and you know what I mean, go clear. But after seeing him in breakfasts, he gonna make that band his own, you know. He have his own special way of connecting with people. His way of delivering these songs is great. I think he's a genuine band performer because he could sing, he could perform. His interaction with the artists we bring on, with the band itself, and with the crowd could only get stronger and stronger because he done starting at a good place already. So I want to salute College Boy Jesse, and I'm hoping that is something he stick with. And I'm only saying that because I come from an era of band fetes, right? There was a time where I wouldn't go any DJ fetes. There was no way at one point in time I'd be comparing soca to breakfasts when breakfasts have bands and soca have none. I never used to go no DJ fetes. So look, my boy Pablo, when me and Pablo was fetting, we look at it, you need brass bands, right? I know that time has changed. That's another old man thing and a 40-year-old thing, but it's my money spending, right? Let me spend my old money on what I enjoy. But now the band thing fade away. Because when you think about it, for all the fetes I went for the year, maybe 2 of the fetes had bands. And now, if you want to see a band, you probably had to go in an all-inclusive. And you're probably going to get the rundown with either be Kess, the All-Stars themselves, possibly Nyla and her band. I hadn't seen her for the season, but I know I saw her on Instagram performing. You may get Delina Dan, who's a staple and a fixture and always solid. What other bands are missing? Bungie have his band. And Bungie Band might be the premier band of the Carnival now. Bungie Band is the best instrumentalists, like musicians, I should say. And they set real tight. They set in Fatima, was it I saw them? It is tight and it is enjoyable. I'm looking forward to see what they come with next year. But you certainly need a band like All Stars and lead singers like College Boy Jesse and Malady. I'll call her Malady for now. But you need them because them is whole effect together. It's our superstars and things like Bungie and them who will come and lift the thing. But you need people like them to, number one, do something that I hear people talking about all the time. But DJs need to be responsible for busting new songs and playing new songs. Let me tell you something. Plenty new songs that people complaining about falling by the wayside because they don't have enough bands. Bands is the ones who used to break new songs. For instance, when a band playing last and you have 3-4 bands in a fete, the early bands used to sing a lot more of the songs that are not the most popular songs in fetes. And that's where songs used to break out. And artists who might not be the biggest might get opportunity early in the fete to come on and play. So I'm glad to see All Stars there. I'm happy to see College Boy Jesse and Malady. I hope they hold it. I hope they keep it together. The vibe's good with them. And we as people, right, as the patrons, we had to give College Boy Jesse a chance. That girl is a star, right? Because once College Boy Jesse singing and then she come on, she lifting up the crowd more than College Boy Jesse because she's vibes and she's a little saucy to her. She have a sauciness, you know what I mean? But she loud and she bad. But we need to get College Boy Jesse a chance because College Boy Jesse is a genuine lead singer in our band and he's going to do great. So he carried the fete. And I was glad that he had a song that he could pull from because he's singing people's song, which is nice to see in bands still. But when he pulled for I was feeling it, and I get at the purge on the junction. A baby girl in the mind and they push back. I'm sorry he didn't bring out Young Brother, but I maybe I'm glad in a way because all the thing people was playing in breakfasts where they're watching College Boy Jesse in their eye. I could see it in their eye. They're watching him and they're wishing it was Blacks. When he started to sing that, I see young and old, big and small, short and tall, and you know, breakfast, people playing the whole thing. Everybody started to move, and from that moment, he had them. And it's maybe something they could adjust in the set so that he kind of tease that song a little earlier so you get them moving and then go into your songs where your cover versions and them kind of thing. But salute College Boy Jesse. I appreciate that and I rate that. I also rate breakfasts and carry people because no matter if a man have a hit or not, their cast is about heavy hitters. And let me tell you something. When Farmer come on, salute to Farmer because one of the first things Farmer do is acknowledge College Boy Jesse and said that black shoes impossible to fill and work with College Boy Jesse. He telling me, Farmer have a gangster way he's gangster the crowd. All you ever notice Farmer don't smile at all when he performing, why is Farmer so upset? Farmer is singing the happiest set of music ever. But Farmer is be looking very, very angry. Farmer, why are you upset with the people you're performing for? You don't like us? We like you, Farmer. We love you. Smile with me and tell me something nice. Our Farmer come and gangster the people and tell them, oh, you don't play like all the thing, because College Boy Jesse filling out some very big shoes here. And I said, why is Farmer upset? It's Carnival Sunday. But Farmer, being the veteran he is, pick up that fete next level. When Farmer come on the stage, people was fetting. It was over for any little, the venue bigger and the thing this and it's not the stadium and the no shade and all that was done when Farmer come on the stage. So salute to carry people for always bringing the heavy hitters in the mix. And then the great, our Lord and Savior, what a Lord and Savior, Iowa George. when George come out, I see rain start to fall during Farmer, nobody move. And listen, I don't understand who is leaving home to come and fete with umbrella. While you have umbrella, I never see so much umbrella in a fete. Like you leave home to come and fete with an umbrella. The thing really changed now, the thing changed. From Bungie when the fete had a power pill. You can imagine big fete back in the day having many people come with their umbrella and thing and they have up their umbrella with Farmer. When Farmer performing. When the rain started falling. As Farmer finished, George run out and the rain falling and the jump up in the water and the rain falling. Listen. Iowa George destroyed our fete. Take it to the next level. Everybody fetting now. It and nobody looking for shelter when the water Lord and Savior come out. So salute to breakfast is again just like different. One of the best fetes I went for the season. All ages, all stages and thing. And I'm feeling like breakfast is more my speed than fetes like soca and them. Honorable mention as I'm talking about old people fete. A fete that didn't go called Bayview, right? Everybody who is 40 and over. And everybody who have jobs above a certain level. When you go in companies that have you have supervisory, then you have middle management, then you see senior managers and C-suites and business owners and influencers and tastemakers. Apparently, Bayview is the fete. That's Carnival Friday. But and it's frightening to go fete during the week, but I realized I could probably go there. So next year, I will be finding myself in Bayview. Because every client that we have, the CEOs, the general managers, the marketing managers, they say all of them just go Bayview. So I go in Bayview with the hope that I ain't not to worry about who see me in the fete. I'm fetting among all the clients, all they fetting too, and I drunk, all the work getting done, everybody smooth, everybody happy, and we good. And hopefully I could get some more business when I go Bayview. But I'm looking for, farmers say big people party. I think at the age and stage now, it's time for me to look for more and more big people party. I'm not sure that I could take these young boy fetes anymore. It's just taking a toll. Coming over from soca sick and all these things. But yeah, that was my fete season. I hope I'll enjoy the fete season too. I didn't really do too much of the all-inclusives. I was talking to Jade Self about Lime. Maybe I might find myself in Lime sometime, but I used to go Lara all the time as my ultra premium. Spend some money on your clothes and spend some money on the tickets and go and play 1% for a little while. They say dress for the job you want. I used to go Lara and play a 1% as I aspire to be one. But I find it turned out to be not too much of a fete anymore. But I'm talking to Jade and they're trying to convince me that Lime does be like a fete. And I like the little things I see from Instagram with Lime. A hand coming through a wall and hand you champagne and thing. And I like what them thing is. Look, I don't really drink champagne, but I want to go to see them thing and maybe carry the wife and have an ultra premium experience and play 1% and things. So let me see what next year Carnival bring. But I can tell you that I'm happy to be able to do this during the Carnival season. It is one of the main reasons I started the podcast, to be able to talk about what is happening in the Carnival season and talk about the culture and the music and everything involved in it during Carnival. I also want to tell you that I failed miserably because once I start fetting and things, it is very hard to put out episodes. Apparently, vodka is taking long to come out your system. But let me take a minute to salute some of the winners before I talk about what happened on the road, right? Let me talk about some of the winners in this year Carnival and what it is we was able to see. First and foremost, the king of the Carnival, the monarch, the merry monarch this year, belongs to Tazia O'Connor. And here is something I feel good about, and I feel good about that personally, because number one, Dwayne O'Connor went Newtown Boys, you know what I mean? And we typically present Trinidad and Tobago with the best, despite all these schools I will tell you how great they are and so on. The reality is that Newtown Boys tends to create the nation built on the back of places like Newtown and Fatima and Tranquil, right? Ask me why. But I was glad Tazia O'Connor win because now we have for the first time a father and son monarch. First time ever. Apparently they say from the semi-finals history was made. It's the first time we have somebody who is in the final and the father had in the semi-final and the father had won a monarch before. And then he went on even further to capture the crown. Now I want to get a part of the song because I think it was a real good song. I want to salute to everybody who was involved in the competition. There are a lot of nation-building songs were there. Special mention to Maria Bola, who had one of the more popular songs going in. I thought Watson and them get enough momentum to go ahead and take the crown. Helen Francis was good. Chucky is always good. So Calypso, you see the idea again of Calypso dying and them kind of things is terms that I like to be a little careful with, given the fact that you have very young people who enter and very young people who win, and they have a clear matriculation system because I believe they say four of the contestants that night came through the schools, the junior monarch competition, and came all the way up and honing their craft from as young as then to now. So the future seems to me to be in good hands when you look at it. This is more about why this is an old age episode, you know, because just like me, you see, like how I in humor and I enjoy myself. I feel I have a few more years in humor left, but after that is a Ronnie and Caro kind of scene, and I'm starting to look for old band and I'm looking for old fete. I feel like some of the same things had to happen in our art forms too. Not that the people had to retire like me, but they had to find older versions of what they used to do to make more space for younger people to come and fill up the spot. Don't let it be 4 people, let it be all of them. Because younger people is attract younger crowds. You see, when this is something I also learn in humor. When you're young, right? It's attract young birds. When you see old, it's attract old birds and the old birds. But anyway, Tazia O'Connor. Let me jump in and take a little piece of his song because the man sing a nation building song that I think real meaningful. And I want to take a slice.
You must grab. Tila baladai day, rang badai day. Oh Lord, I here to celebrate this twin island set with a glorious chant worthy of all our praises. You toil and you toil, take care of we while drilling oil. Also teaching we to put some seeds in this soil. You took we from the horrors on the plantation. They tell we with confidence, look, we could build we own nation. They say things are going to be hard, you know, and we are going to make it just so. But through hard work and dedication, we are all going to benefit. If we vision, we all embrace it, with each one helping another one. So let we all stand up for this nation. Let we stand up in tribulation. Hooray, hooray. Come let we sing hallelujah. We are persevered, look we made it. Even in times when they say we would quit. Hooray, hooray. Come let we sing hallelujah. So I say if you love your country then show it. If you are proud, stand up and let them know it. Hallelujah. I say you are so worthy, blessings almighty, from him they will start to pour. TNT, we love you forevermore. TNT, girl, you're greater now than before. Tila baladai day, Ramba dine day, dine day. You I congratulate, for you always demonstrate your strength, courage and dignity. Over the years so industrious, people driven and people focused. Sacrifices, she would make them all for us. There were so many differences Trinbago had to deal with. Look, races, religions, creed and class, look how we embrace it. And though different we are, yes, you and I, cause we don't always see eye to eye, but that aside, the sky should be your limit. And if I work with you and you work with me, Nelson say all we is one family. We could shake, 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 but we would never break. So let we all stand up for this nation, let we stand up in jubilation.
Hooray, hooray, come let me sing hallelujah.
Anywhere in the world we go on vacation, a Trini accent cannot be mistaken.
Hooray, hooray, come let me sing hallelujah.
So I say if you love your country, then show it, look I'm proud. So I sing it to let you know it.
Hallelujah.
I say you are so worthy, blessings almighty. From him they will start to pour. TNT, we love you forevermore. TNT, girl you're greater now than before. Don't be day. Bamba day, Tila Baladine day. You never hesitate to reiterate that we're a people blessed with a special mix. I got above the rest, and simply there is no contest that on any day we could stand toe to toe with the best. With education, sports and culture, man, you name it. Look, science, technology, beauty and all, we have it. And for a nation that is as small as we, ambition flows abundance. So if we know in divisiveness there's no profit, so it helps hell high we could stand and boast, raise our glasses and take a toast. Don't be dismayed, we have plenty more on the way. So let we all stand up for this nation, let we stand up in jubilation.
Hooray, hooray, come let me sing hallelujah.
No one should ever feel he's neglected, cause as one nation we're connected.
Hooray, hooray, come let me sing hallelujah.
So I say if you love your country, let's show it, look up proud. So I dance in to let you know it.
Hallelujah.
I say you are so worthy, blessings
almighty.
From him they will start to pour. TNT, we love you forevermore. TNT, girl you're greater now than before. Don't be there. Wombo doing, Tila Baladine day. So this year we commemorate, cause 2 years now look we hold in faith. 2023 is the mother of Canaval. COVID shut we down, but look how we still going strong with a tradition that has been around for so long. Kaizo Maspan and Soca, now is the time to claim it. Is we own, so we have to embrace it. We don't want nobody push we aside. For we culture, we must have national pride, cause one day somebody might want to take it. So with arms open wide, just sing it loud. Of TNT, we are very proud culture yet to stay. So sing the chorus and dance with me. Yes, so let we all stand up for this nation. Let we stand up in jubilation.
Hooray, hooray, come let me sing hallelujah.
It's from different lands they had brought us, but it's we culture that had taught us.
Hooray, hooray, come let me sing hallelujah.
So I say if you love your country, then show it. If you are proud, sing it to let them know it.
Hallelujah.
I say you are so worthy, blessings almighty. From him they will start to pour. TNT, we love you forevermore. Oh yes. TNT, girl, you're greater now than before. So let we all stand up for this nation. Let we stand up in jubilation.
Hooray, hooray. Come, let me sing hallelujah.
Anywhere in the world we go on vacation, a Trini accent cannot be mistaken.
Hooray, hooray. Come, let me sing hallelujah.
So I say, if you love your country, then show it. If you are proud, stand up and let them know it.
Hallelujah.
I say you are so worthy. Blessings almighty from him they will start to pour. TNT, girl, we love you forevermore. TNT, girl, you're greater now than before. Yeah.
Salute to Tazia O'Connor. Father and son anything. It can't be that. And if you ever get time, go and check out the performance. It's online, it's available to see, because on presentation, I know that he would have been, the results were a little close, right? It was tight, and the People's Choice Award went to Karen Williams Figaro, Tiny, who just get edges, and she won the $10,000 People's Choice Award. So salute to her as well. So the competition, third was Karen Ashe. Let me go through all out. Roger Gordon, the great Chucky, was the Martin. Martin came fourth. Tamika Darius, Jahaji Bash, Terry Lyons come sixth. The defending champion, salute to Terry Lyons. Reigning Monarch came sixth with House Cleaning. Ezekiel York 7. Maria Bowler, the People Man, come about 8. Biggest song in Skinner Park. Helen Francis as well had a real good song, came 9th. Snakey came 10th. Snakey seemed to get a lot of licks on this weekend. And something we used to have a lot of fun doing back in the day, right? If I remember, is watching the Monarch results to find out who come last. And that was the great Mark Eastman. When you come last in the Monarch long time, you didn't used to be forgotten, you know. I'll never forget watching Calypso Monarch. Must be sometime in the 80s, and Delamo come last. Boy, we met we laugh when Delamo come last. Now I want to say the song was I Can't Wine. I can't remember. But back in the day, the last was preserved or reserved for the person who sings soca, who sing the jump up song and lively up the place. Dead last, because you have no lyrical content and your presentation might be weak or whatever it might be. But again, salute to Dwayne O'Connor. Tazia O'Connor on his Sing Hallelujah song. I think it's a great nation building song. Again, I'm going back to the point I was making about Maria Bola making a great song, right? And it's something that I feel we had to focus on some more in Calypso. Because to me, the Monarch remains the Monarch. And the reason I started with the Calypso Monarch, they had competitions that came before that and competitions that came after that. But traditionally in our culture and our history, the Merry Monarch is the one who reigns over the Carnival. And that is something we mustn't forget. Because I think it's an important part of what used to, the tradition that used to happen back in the day in terms of how the Carnival started. Because your Carnival didn't start until a Merry Monarch was crowned, and he would be seen as the person, or he or she would be seen as the person who looks over the Carnival. So as part of the tradition and the mass and the fantasy that mass is, the way the thing really should work is that you have a king or a queen that is crowned, and all of us are his or her subjects that go out on the road and enjoy the time that we have. So typically your monarch and the king and queen of Carnival would be the ones who looking over us. A kind of trilogy, you know what I mean? The Father, Son, and Holy Spirit of the Carnival, and they look over us as we get out on the streets and celebrate our freedom. I think it's an important part of the Carnival, and I want to acknowledge young 20-year-old Tazia O'Connor as being the person who was able to look over us and all the debauchery that we had on the road and so on. We had a great time. A big part of what used to be the March Gras night as well was the extempo competition. So we used to have the king and queen of the Carnival crowned as the costumes. And I think it's important. They toy with it a few times over the years, right? Because if you remember, all those things used to be one show, right? They used to have think how long this show used to be. They used to have 2 songs for the Calypso Monarch competition. And so if everybody sing the first song, they have an intermission and then the second song. And during the intermission, they used to have the individual costumes come up and do their parade and get judged to see who would be the king and queen of carnival. And if I know, somebody had to remember this, no, but if I'm not mistaken, extempo used to be that same night. Like them people used to be in the savannah from Sunday morning till Sunday night out. And then somewhere around 1, 2 o'clock when a winner is chosen as the merry monarch, that person declares the juve as open, or the commissioner of police could declare the juve as open once a merry monarch is crowned. That's the days of juve starting 2 o'clock and thing. At this 4 o'clock juve, where as you start juve, the sun done start to rise already. If you oversleep, your whole juve is in the daytime. That wasn't the case. Juve used to be. And I feel that is one of the reasons why juve music, people complaining that the juve music playing the same music as Carnival Monday and Tuesday. And I think it's because it's short. If it was starting 2 o'clock before, we'll go back to slower music because that was a long haul. From 2 to 10 is a longer time on the road than if you're just going from 4 till 10 o'clock or 4 till sunrise. They will eventually play the most popular songs on the road. Just as mentioned as well, King of Carnival 2023 Raymond Mark and the Queen of Carnival 2023 Priya Nagasa. Salute to both of them on winning their King and Queen of Carnival. So we have officially a monarch in place and a king and queen of carnival in terms of their portrayal. Salute to them. Going back to when they had the extempo competition, I want to say that was Saturday night. And salute to my boy Ronald because I would have missed this completely. And my little family group chat too. All my aunties and uncles and my father and them, everybody was in group chat livid. Because the extempo competition took a new form this year. And that's what Ronald messaged me to tell me about. He said, boy, if I watch an extempo, I said, nah, extempo going on. When I check it out, I see what they call a freestyle competition. And the first thing when Ronald told me that thing, I was like, stupid. What is this? Because they're playing a music track behind them, and they I guess it's freestyle, but the music track that they're singing on and the way they're delivering the thing singing pretty sterile to me and pretty boring. But as I look on, I start understanding the concept because the people who were involved in this competition was not just younger people, but it was more geared and targeted towards younger people. In other words, not me. Outside the target group, as you old man here. I like the art and the craft that is extempo. I like the extempo rhythm and the tradition that it brings, as well as the fact that when you compete in extempo, you're not just competing against the people who you're faced with on the stage, or it's not that one-on-one battle. You're also competing with everybody who came in extempo before you and everybody who can extempo because it's standard and everybody has done it over time. It's like test cricket. You're going out there to play test cricket. Yes, you're playing against a team that you come to play against, but you're also playing against everybody who's played test cricket before because they have several records, several things that have never been done before in the game. And you could, like, Sobers hit 6 sixes, or Lara make 375, you make 400. They have several records that could be there. And I feel like extempo is one of those things and a tradition that should be there. So I was happy after Stoops when I saw that the regular extempo was also going on, because at first I thought they replaced the extempo with this. But I like the idea of the freestyle. I find the freestyle very bad with the game, man. It's not so much about the topic, it's to get them to battle one another, which used to be a big part of extempo. If you remember the early days of the extempo competition, they used to sing against one another. It was no topic from no hat, and everybody sing about something, and you choose what is the better verse. It used to be who could this, who more, which young people always like. Who don't like a little clash, you know what I mean? But just warning to the people who are organizing the freestyle competition. If you keep doing this in one another, it'll end up right where extempo end up. Because in extempo, how much time you call a man ugly and tell a girl she fat and Lady Africa come and say gypsy can stand up, and how much times you could, and somebody say lingo say you can see how you're ugly even though you're blind. Eventually the insults and the back and forth is get a little bit boring and sterile, right? It's not enjoyable anymore. So they took the thing to another level in extempo when they gave them topics to sing about, because it showed your genuine ability to extempo. Okay, you don't know what you're going to come to sing about next, other than being able to go out there and plan for everybody. For instance, you know the people in the extempo competition this year was Elisa Ray, Lingo, Dion Diaz, Black Sage, and so on, Island Manswell, Gypsy, Snakey, I think it was, and Brian London. So when you look at the people who sorry, Myron B, not Snakey. When you look at the people who there. You could done make up insults about them. Gypsy have a Jerry Curl, now he gone ball. The NCC do thing and they thief out the steel from the North Stand, which London sing about it. You could plan that, but when they give you a topic on spot, now we seeing who's genuine extempo people, and that is where Gypsy starts to separate himself from the packet because Gypsy is the king. He is hard to defeat when it comes to them kind of thing. You hand Gypsy a topic, and he well informed about the topic. And I remember Brown Boy and Hezekiah telling me about this. They say, boy, one of the things Gypsy is beating with is not just ability to extempo, is that he's very informed and he up to date. So sometimes they hand you a topic and you don't know nothing about this, and Gypsy getting into a certain amount of depth in what is a 8 or 10 line song, and have you lost and making it look bad, you know what I mean? And that's why you beat people with over the years. So just a word of warning to the people who doing the freestyle competition, which I hope they continue and hope to find ways to encourage younger people to come more and more in. That if you leave it about dissing people every year, everybody will tell Pretty hips big. So salute to Myron B, who's the eventual winner of the competition. Salute to Pretty too, because Pretty do good. Pretty beats out that sound good. I want to say Pretty beats out Snaky. That sound good. Pretty won against his wrong against Snaky. And he eventually meet Myron B in the end. But I think both of them do real good to stay on the rhythm and consistently come up with line after line, and you could tell it's singing from the top, right? And I like how Pretty changed up the style and didn't just deliver the line. The rhythm was causing them to be able to do very limited things with the cadence of the lines, and Pretty was able to work around that. As he said, he could genuinely sing, and he do some different flows, whereas Myron B stick to basically one flow, but he was stinging. He was hitting hard. Pretty had on an outfit there. I had to say outfit, man, the way outfit there, but Pretty had on an outfit. And Myron B attacked the man outfit, he attacked the singing, he attacked the fact that Pretty had hips. It's this thing that everybody just be thinking and nobody didn't say, and then you say that on a stage. And then he was able to respectfully realize Pretty dead too, and he can't come back and just use the freestyle to celebrate the fact that he done win the crown already. And what I was really glad to hear, I couldn't see based on the coverage from TTT, I believe it was. I couldn't see what the crowd looked like, but I could tell you from the crowd response that they seem to have a decent little crowd there who come out to hear this. And I think that was needed. So when people tell me about things dead and the culture dead and them kind of thing, these things very, very active and people follow it. I even saw when I went to work, I don't want to say Ash Wednesday morning, that would be a lie. Whenever the next time I was having to work after Carnival, I heard Blaze and Miles talking about it and callers coming in. Blaze and Miles play what Myron B had to say about Pretty. They actually play pieces of the whole verse and people call in and them kind of things. When last you hear on urban radio or radio that is targeted to younger people, right? When last you hear somebody calling about the extempo competition and say, oh God, the extempo was bad, it's what Gypsy. That does not happen. So I would say for the people who organize this this freestyle competition, mission accomplished, because you're clearly opening up your target group to younger and younger people or different audiences at least, right? So salute to them. I hope that continue. I have one suggestion for them, right? One suggestion I have for you. Rather than play that sterile track that's only playing in the back there, which it sounds like a band playing it, right? So they could play it for... was it a band or was it a DJ? Because the track wasn't running out, so I assume it's a band, right? But if it wasn't a band, my suggestion would be let a band play. And they have several very big songs for Carnival, right? So let me use my example. The biggest song for Carnival was Engine Room, right? It might be possible for you to take a rhythm like that already popular and people like a lot, and use those for the one-on-one battles. So if you come out and you tell them, listen, we have 10 battles here, so 9 early rounds and then a final. And what we will be doing is taking the biggest rhythms for the Carnival and giving you that. You're not going to know which rhythm it's on. So let me assume you take Engine Room as one. You take Bungee Hard Fit as the next one. You take Nylon Skinny as the next one. You take Ding Dong. So whatever's the biggest songs to the car, you tell them, listen, we choosing 10 random rhythms, 10 of the biggest, and that is where you are the freestyle. And then we will see the real talent and ability of these artists. You might even find that somebody come in the thing and their own rhythm play, which could be an advantage for somebody, but it could be a huge disadvantage too, because you stuck. If you imagine Ola joined this competition and they play Engine Room, and he's stuck in his same verse and his same style, And then Pretty come with something completely different on a different floor and give back that song a kind of life. I feel like that will encourage younger people or bigger audiences because of the familiarity they will have with the things that playing. And they could vibe to it, whether the artist doing good or not, or they fail and they fumble, or they're doing great and they sit down and the rhythm right. They could do it. And you don't have to take the whole song. You could take an element of the rhythm so that there's a certain amount of familiarity that could bring not just the seated audience or the live audience, but it could also is something that people would want to tune into and see and wouldn't want to miss. I think it's a good suggestion. And you have the tradition, which is the extempo, running right alongside it on the same night. But so salute to them. Great initiative. I like it a lot. Salute to Myron B. Lyrics like that. I don't like it. You know what I mean? Salute to everybody else who came in, like Fireball, Snakey, Rayon Bernardo, Clint Davis, and Shakir Harewood, Saki. Everybody who was in there, I like it. Salute to the great Brian London. Brian London is on a hat trick of wins where extempo is concerned. And anytime you ask me who's the extempo king, or anybody asks who's the extempo king, according to what age group you're in, it's like Jordan and LeBron, right? People of a certain era will tell you it's Pretender, and then of another era they will tell you it's Gypsy. So like back in the day, we used to argue with the older. I remember Chana, my instructor in the gym back in the day. We used to argue all the time about who better between Magic Johnson and Jordan. And Chana used to say, boy, Jordan could never do a Magic do. Jordan lost for the first 10 years of his career, this and that. And, you know, and now when you watch youths now, them telling you LeBron is the greatest, and we watching them like they're crazy. I see my boy Jared Gray, right? I see Gray post something today that I really like. Gray saying, he posts a picture of somebody in a basketball uniform. And the person is with a headband on his head, swimming in the uniform. The pants big, everything big. And he's saying that when people in their 40s talking about young people and their style and all them kind of thing, and they looking like this and all, they looking ridiculous and they don't know what is swag and thing, they must remember that this is how we used to dress when we were young. I think it's such an instructive thing Gray posted. I was telling Gray anything. It don't matter if it's clothes, it don't matter if it's the music we listen to, the food we eat, the places we lime, the things we do, it don't matter. When you're old, just remember you're old, right? Your time has passed. Leave these youths, let them enjoy what they enjoy, and you cannot compare eras. Comparing eras is a waste of time. I used to go, according to Bungie, my hard fete and them, I used to have a good time, but I also enjoying these fetes that here now. I just enjoying the time for when it is. Because if you spend your whole 40s arguing with youths about what should be better and how they should dress and all them kind of thing, you're going to miss making your own memories in your 40s. And then when you reach your 60s, you're going to still be watching back at your 20s. I want to make memories now so I can watch every era in my life and watch how I was a damn fool through every era. I hope so. Every time I look back at myself, I must see as a fool. But is that what happened in extempo now seeming to be that there's a passing over, just like how people are arguing for LeBron now. Anybody who follow extempo now go tell you that Brian London is the greatest of all time. 3 straight ain't easy to do. I mean, Gypsy win multiple times, but if you watch the extempo final, Brian London comfortably owned Gypsy. From the first verse, Gypsy's first verse was crispy. He basically telling me you're taking too long to come on stage, you're only studying outfit change, and outfit change don't win Kaiso. And people laugh out. Everybody, you know what I mean? You hear the response. But to tell you the truth, Brian London destroyed that verse and say, boy, I beat you with clothes without clothes. I don't beat you coming and go. And I think it was downhill from there with Gypsy. Brian London verses was better. They was wittier. They was punchier. So in this case, Brian London was Myron B. And unfortunately, Gypsy was pretty. Gypsy might as well have hips out there because, boy, Brian London beat him coming and going. So salute to Brian London. 3 times straight, hard to achieve. Big names in the final too, you know. It's not no small people he beat. As I'd called the names before, his experienced seasoned campaigners that he beat. So I'm glad to see Brian London come out there and do it to them, you know what I mean? That was good. Well, I see in here actually that if this published on Friday, February 17th, this was probably on the 16th. This was probably Canaval Thursday this competition was. So I'm glad to see that there's a certain passing of the torch, or handing over the guard, you know what I mean? Time for Gypsy, not to retire necessarily, but to move from humor to Ronnie and Caro. You know what I mean? Make some space for some people to come in, they let them earn their craft and them kind of thing, or hone their craft, I should say. and move forward. All right, who else win? Who else win for the carnival? Do I have to do this? Do I have to eat back all my words that I said? Do I have to eat back my words from the wordiest man in the history of Canaval?
Best late entry of the century. Braga. Yo. I'm not going no small fete. Let me extend my apologies. On a big fete with big flag going overhead like canopy. Rag in my back pocket with a white vest, sneakers and wallabies. Knife tips and tight pants. I never really rate none of these. I come from brass festival and from customs and from flour mills. Was a fete, fire fete and licensing fete and them had a power pill. Everybody gone nice and groovy bunchy, all you pushing power still. If it's me, you don't leave me with power on a hill. I ain't come here for no stand up. I come to party with my hand up. So
all road match winners play 2-1 in the air. Salute to Bungie Garland. A good bad talk Bungie. But again, I mean, Engine Room will be the biggest song for me for the year because I'm old. But I could tell you that the response to Bungie on the road. Remember I was talking last week about natural road matches? This song did not be about no stage. It did not be about nothing. The way people was responding to this on the road, I didn't hear it often. Salute to the people who was DJing in the humor, but I didn't hear it over and over. It was bad. And you see this verse?
all I know is pace. Feathers rough like sea. Going out all night, no go home before 3. When one fed done, we start a soca spray. So we go with way. We no ask why, we no question mark. We take why with apostrophes. Get girl with more lyrical content than Socrates. She could have shaped like a triangle with a cosine of isosceles. Any other thing different, well, that is blasphemy. I come here for no stand up. I come to party with my hand up. So all soca people put your 2-1 in the air.
Let me tell you something. When that 2-1 in the air go up, the air automatically all masqueraders. And I was wondering how come they didn't do a road mix that just say all masqueraders do this. Show me. I thought that would be obvious thing to do. But that was no, if they did that, I didn't hear it, and that was no one was playing on the road. The original song was good enough, it carry everybody. Salute to Nyla and Skinny, because I find that is a great song when I first hear it, and that song will last forever. People know it, people love it. The combination of a man and a woman singing it, I think, adds something to it too, and two people who could sing. But when we reach Soca Drum on Monday and they play Nyla and Skinny first, and I see the reaction to Nyla and Skinny, I tell myself, well, like, Bungie can't win, boy, because the reaction was big. But somewhere, as soon as they go and start across the stage, they play that Bungie and it was over. But at that point in time, you realize it was gone. So salute to them. I'm glad that Bungie win. I like it that Bungie win a road match on his own too. I was saying last week that Bungie didn't win one, but I forget that he had him and Marshall and Skinny Fabulous. So was family. But this is and family force like hell if you ask me to. This ain't no forced road match. Now this is it. If the Mafia tried to squeeze him out, they couldn't squeeze him out. The Mafia had to take a little L this year. Nothing without controversy, right? Because Canaval is bacchanal and bacchanal is Canaval. And I see that Wiley man win and salute to him again. When Tuco powered, Tuco NCC or whoever it is powered the road match results, up comes Fayan as a road match winner. And apparently this is Fayan's 4th road match title. So salute to Fayan on her 4th road match win. Now I'll say this. Me never hear no Fayan in that song. Me never know Fayan write that song. I see all kind of people early in the year talking about Fayan on the stage with his song and they want to see Bungie perform alone. Well, no, I only know why Fayan was on the stage because it's Fayan's song too. You understand? I tell myself Bungie win a road match by himself. He still never win a road match by himself. And the place was in an uproar. Funny enough, when I saw the results published, I also saw only Nyla Blackman listed on the what is the name of the song? I've been waiting. Me know the name of the song. I only saw her name listed on it, which I found was odd too. But I kind of assumed that because Skinny Fabulous is a foreigner, his name couldn't be there or something. But I don't know. You only know how I feel about that, right? I find anybody should be. Every single prize we have in this country, everybody should be able to enter. Imagine somebody from Norway is the king of Canaval. I like that, I find that is what we need. We need genuine competition, and we need people to come here and get bad licks from the people who is the originators too. And we need every now and again for somebody to rise up and take a crown to make sure they stay sharp down here. So we don't have no Calypso Monarch with 12 competitors and 9 boring rhythm and boring song, they should not be able to make the final. Let somebody else who have a good song come and sing wherever in the world is. Then you'll see how great we is. And then you'll see genuine tourists coming. I watching the people on the road, and I realized that as a child watching Carnival, you used to see a lot of tourists. No, to be honest, I really judging tourists from white people. You used to see a lot of white-skinnedness. No, it's no white people coming here for Carnival. None. It's no more white people. They're not on we. Me if it's a crime advisory. I feel it's the boringness, the road too long, the route too brutal, the sun too hot. I don't know where it is, but we certainly don't have as much tourists. I think what we have is diaspora. Foreigners who live abroad and think coming back, but we're not attracting tourists. One of the ways to continue to attract tourists is make the thing open. But anyway, I'll be that hostel is dead. No Skinny Fabulous on the list, and Fayan added to the thing, and people started going about how thing and Fayan too pushy and she this and she. Well, boy, Bungie get hot. All you went and get Bungie Garland hot. All you know, the man don't like people talk about your wife. The man ain't responding to no whole set of people on Twitter when they're saying anything about he. But as any man would, to be fair, you could say a lot of things about me. But if you're bad talk my wife, I'll feel a little embarrassed. I'll feel away. I wouldn't like that. You know what I mean? I'll probably have to respond to that. So Bungie came out and responded. And let it be known that nobody's to say anything about his wife. It was a fitting response if you ask me, right? Because when people, sometimes you have to put on your foot and let people know where to stop. I was saying in a few episodes ago that this young generation here, who trying to eliminate hard slap, for lack of a better term, right? It's not a good thing, you know. You must know that when you say certain things to a man, there could be consequences and repercussions. You mustn't be able to walk up to a man and tell a man, your mother this and that, and just feel like because we get so over-civilized that you can't be seeing the sky when you say things like that, or you can't wake up a few minutes later wondering what happened when you say things. The threat of that might still be there. I'm not condoning violence, but you must know that you can't say things like that. So according to Bungie, it's from the Sunday Express, right? Bungie said, don't lose your place and complain for me. This is by, I'm sure, Michael Mondesi. It's as expected. Salute Michael Mondesi. I making my own thing. The king of the Canaval journalist. That my monarch too. He's a winner. The article goes on to say there was a fiery response from the 2023 Visit Trinidad Road March winner Bungie Garland, following a social media outcry over his wife and now 4-time Road March winner Fayan Lyons Alvarez. Alvarez's inclusion in the official credits for the title grabber, hard fit. Hundreds of soca fans took to their personal accounts on Ash Wednesday to question Lyons Alvarez's name appearing next to Bungie Garland as the winner of the coveted title, asking if she co-wrote or sung background on the track. Garland clarified yesterday, yes, she wrote with me and also did vocals on the track. Going on to question whether there would be any similar outcry if he had put a producer name in the credits instead. I think that was a very good point. Because I remember this. I don't know if people just forget these things, right? I remember when Jumbie win Canavals, which was another natural road match. Jumbie didn't need no pushing. One of the biggest road match they ever had, right? When Jumbie won road match, you all don't remember them interviewing Colonel Roberts on the road and congratulating him for winning road match as you I didn't understand this before, you know. Well, you don't remember Denise Plummer singing a song after winning the Calypso Monarch about Kurt Allen being a road match Calypso Monarch winner when she sang, I want to say it's Not Leaving Now. I hope I have that right. And she sang in the Monarch competition the year after saying it's the most expensive song she's ever written because she had to split. She had to sell it and split the money. I believe it was Kurt Allen who wrote the song. All I don't remember Colonel Roberts being the person credited with the road match for Palance. And he tells you he win X amount of road match before he will tell you, listen, I have 5 road match. Just like my father, there was a point in time where he was starting to, or at least head towards where his father was as a multiple road match. Nobody never win like Kit, right? But at least he was saying, you know, he's a multiple road match winner following in the footsteps of his father. So I think Bungie absolutely right. If he had put a producer name on it, I don't think anybody would have paid any attention to that whatsoever. That would have just gone on as that. And no. I have a theory as to why people think it. Let me read Michael Mondesi. He's quoted as saying, I didn't even see people questioning the missing names on the other registrants on the bill. A combative Garland told the Express during a WhatsApp exchange from New York, USA. No, the fact that it's a WhatsApp exchange, I don't want to be on the wrong side of Bungie, but When I was reading it first, and it sounded like Michael Mondes, he talked to Bungie. I said it was a fitting response from Bungie. But then when I say it's a WhatsApp exchange, I started to wonder if fan write that. And listen, she within her rights to write the responses, because she's a lawyer and she's probably his lawyer. You know what I mean? But I started to see, like, when I started to see where it going, I started to wonder who write these responses. But it went on to say, the other registrant he was referring to was Marshall Montano's Like Yourself, the credits for which excluded the song's co-singer Patrice Roberts. What we are seeing here, honestly, here is in our society, we still have a very serious problem with seeing a female as a business partner publicly in creative arts. They think that she should just be a wife. And that stems from their upbringing. Garland continue. You see, when I see it going down the gender road, because I didn't think that people were saying this because it's a woman, and I see some people saying because it's a black woman, and if it was a white woman, they would have never. I think that Hard Fet was Bungie's song. And if you don't understand what is happening with producer credits, something like the Colonel Roberts thing example I was given earlier, the Kurt Allen, you might well be questioning, well, why her name there? I don't think asking why her name there is an attack on women, an attack on black women, an attack on Fayan, or an attack on Bungie. It could just be a question. Like, how your name end up there? What part of the song you sing? Me and if it have a remix and you come in with something, I'll be so glad to hear you. But again, the fact that it was met with so much vitriol from the Garland family makes me wonder, like, who write this response? But anyway, the Komuta One singer went on in double standards for men and women in the public eye and further questioned why black families are attacked for attempting to uplift each other. This is going far. The soca couple left New York yesterday after both being presented with Icon Awards and inductions into the Young Gifted Black Entrepreneurial Awards Hall of Fame. Let me take a moment to recognize that. In Black History Month, New York handed these awards out to people who were young, gifted, and black, and took a minute, Young Gifted and Black Entrepreneurial Awards. And Bungie and Fayan were recognized for their contribution as young, gifted black entrepreneurs. I think that deserves mention. And that deserves celebration. Because, should I go back to this 1% thing? I like to see people where I like this song, but they're thriving in life too. What I don't like to see is people give us art and give us music or give us things that we love and we cherish and we like the name and we say there's superstars and there's heroes, and then when we go breakfasts and they're not singing any fete, we missing them and we love them, and every truck passing on the road say, oh, they miss blacks, or they love blacks, and then blacks die broken. I'm using blacks as an example. I ain't saying blacks die broken, right? But just saying generally, that's what has happened with a lot of our icons and our heroes. I don't like that. I like to see people do good, give us things that we like and enjoy, and they're wealthy. They're doing great. When you see them, the skin looking like money, which is like Bungie and Fayan. They're doing good. So I'm so glad to see them being celebrated, not just as artists or not just as songwriters or producers or anything like that, but as entrepreneurs. Serious matters. Anyhow, according to Michael Mondes, he quoted us saying, plain talk, if I were a male whore, no one would have a single thing to say. Me know it reached there. If I was a male whore, no, I don't have a single thing to say. Plain talk. If it were any other race or narrative, you would see how it. If plain talk, if it were any other race, the narrative would be, you see how they just do it, but because of the darker hue. No, but be of darker hue and put things in perspective, and everything gets questioned. Is it just me or I find this a reach, you know, to be honest with you. I find this a reach. I find the response could just be, yeah, she write and co-write the song and she anything. So I don't like disrespectful comments about my wife, and people should keep the disrespectful comments to themselves. I don't know how it turned to be gender wars. So you trying to tell me Bungie and the likes, or whoever was responding to that message, fan, you trying to tell me if Bungie had just put out something saying Hard Fet, or sorry, Tuko, or whoever had put the release, say Hard Fet by Bungie Garland, road march winner, 173 plays, Bungie Garland and Marshall Montano. You don't think people would be confused and ask questions like, what the hell he reaching there? And they don't want, people want Bungie to win the road match by himself. That is a fan thing. I want to see Bungie win the road match solo mio. Especially after I check it back and I see Bunji win with Marshall and Skinny. No disrespect to Marshall, neither Skinny. I just want to see Bunji win by himself so that he go down in history. I always talk about this. You know. I was so glad to see Maximus Dan, Egel, Magadan, MX Prime. I like to see his name down as a road march winner. That's meaningful to me as a fan of soca music. I love to see that. I know that there's a controversy behind it. He's not a competition man, but I'm so glad he stepped aside and he said, boy, all right, it's the people's song and I put it in there. Because when 100 years come from now, you could look back and see the greatness that he was, but by his name being documented in a competition. Part of the reason I feel that way is because we don't do very well to document things. So if people don't win competitions here, they could be forgotten, and it's sad. So I just want to see Bunji win. Not I may ask no question. When I see Bunji and Fayan, I really didn't question it too much because I've seen producers get credits on things before, so it wasn't nobody to me, but I could kind of see why people ask. I don't know why, because people ask if I have to turn into if I was a man, if I was a hoe. I know that, but okay. This is our family. This is our business. This is where I stop when I see it there, because that is them family and that is them business. He could have put his daughter, because I see DJ Khaled put Assad Khaled and whoever the next one named Ashmead, me know the little baby name. But I see him put his son as executive producer on an album when his son couldn't walk, talk, or spoke. And nobody has said nothing. So when I see Bunji put Fayan as winner too, my first thought was that is the man wife. That he business. If he wants to, like, the friends of man is come and get a wife their whole salary. Maybe I think I need to edit that part out, just in case. But when I see it, I thought it was funny. So I was like, wait, no, Fayan. And then I was like, boy, that he family and that he business. I find this would be a sufficient response. But he went on to say, and we will do our work to ensure that what we do affects our family in the positive and our lineage. Affects our family in the positive and our lineage coming after. I find like a lawyer write this and it's hard to read. So if you don't see me complaining about something, then don't lose your place and complain for me. A triggered Garland continued. Winning his second road match title is significant because of the energy of his music this year. Came from the ground, Garland said. This song, like somebody else get back their phone so they could respond. These energies come from the ground. Music finalizes its run through your human system by trailing out into the ground. He get back your phone. Hardfed was written from the view of the people and for the people who were constantly saying online, man, when TNT open up, I just want to let loose, I just want to go mad. That was our marker to attack with full force and just be true to the music, he said. So again, salute to them both. 4th title for Fayan, 2nd title for Bunji. I'm glad for him too, because I ain't like how she tell him, I win 3 by myself, you win 1 with people. So now she win 3 by herself and 1 with people too, you know what I mean? But I still would like to see Bunji win a road match by himself. But to be honest, we will probably never see that, because he gonna give his wife rights and credits on his songs. I find it think about this, right? If rights and credits is good on a certain percentage split, wouldn't it be in your best interest to give your wife a split of the song? Because this song is not no local song. I was saying that last week. Bunji does not make local music or carnivalize. It carnivalized. Carnival type music, right? I should say. But he's certainly not making music for this domestic market alone. This Hardfed song, which I said last week, most people outside of the carnival culture, they're not going to understand what they're listening to. When you say, what's a fete, fire, fete, and them a power pill. Nobody them don't know what I mean. But a man come here and sing Afrobeats Carnival Friday, nobody don't know what he mean neither. And this song gonna be an international hit. People gonna sing this all over the world, because you don't need to hear nothing else in this song to connect with this song, but all soca lovers do this. Show me a hand. That is enough to carry that song everywhere in the world. You're gonna hear it in basketball arenas. Salute again to Patrice Roberts, who just after Carnival, it's so nice to see, I love to see things like this, who went and performed in a Caribbean month in Toronto, and she went and performed, is this the same like yourself? In a halftime at a Raptors game. Salute, legend that Patrice Roberts is, and she out there promoting the culture the day after. I wonder how them get flight. How them reach New York so fast and this one reach Toronto so fast. But going back to this, I think it's a great thing. I think Bunji's response is fitting, if you ask me. Whoever writes it is fitting, because I mean, in these streets, you can't be having people saying all kind of things about your wife and you ain't responding to it. Me like that. And we also have to be careful how we saying things. And remember that this is a man wife we talking about. I mean, you could think them things, but you can't be saying that publicly and atting the man in post and responding to under he post where he's celebrating it to disrespect. That is problems. And you keep in mind that this social media thing, you can see people in person. And Bunji is still, I wanted to go back to old Bunji songs, right? Old Bunji songs, Kumuto and Wallowfield type Bunji songs. And you will understand that he's probably not the best person to openly, blatantly disrespect his wife. You want to tell him my theory about why people respond that way? Should I say that after just saying where Bunji come from and them kind of thing? You know what I mean? Remember what happened to Bunji? Bunji was going to do a lot of harm to people for talking about his music system. You know, remember that? The music system, he was going to do a lot of harm. So I'm frightened to say anything about your wife. But I honestly just think that people don't like Fayan. I think they have a lot of things that's be said about Fayan, about her attitude and how she's get on and how she, you know what I mean? Get on. And people just don't like her. And again, he have all rights to defend his wife. And I like her. So if anybody see me, just know that I love Fayan. I documented as loving Fayan. As a matter of fact, I was having an argument a few weeks ago saying that Fayan might be the bigger artist. I think I lose that argument with myself. But I love Fayan. But people say a lot about her attitude. A lot of people who work with them had bad experiences through Fayan. They say Bunji humble and so nice to everybody they meet. But Fayan could be, you know what I mean? But again, there's a man wife, and if he feels to pay your wife there, and if he feel if let me assume she have a bad attitude, which I don't know anything about, and he wants to deal with that, I am my wife. If it's my wife, then I had to deal with that. But if that is them, that is their problem. But first and foremost, and most importantly, salute to Bunji Garlin and the Alvarez family on the second road march. I suspect that just like DJ Khaled, when Bunji come with the big song next year, and he win road march, I think Siri is going to be prepare yourself one time. Siri is also going to get writing credits on those songs because I saw them pass through. I want to say it's Providence or one of them convents, and they were performing. And I can tell you now, Siri is a star. Siri and the mother and father calling them out and thing. And I mean, Bunji and Fayan is seasoned artists that you can't compare anybody to, right? But when you see the way Siri interacting with her peers in school, there you could see that she's a star. So salute her. As we talk about school and star, I want to salute my son, my guy, Zachary, because he is a winner this carnival for me. Because my boy went into the boys' school calypso competition. He becoming a guest artist in the calypso competition. I keep telling him we could write a song and let him enter the competition if he wants. But I think he liking this guest artist role because the last time, rather than entering the competition, his mother write a song for him, remixing I come for this work, sign me up, and she remixed it to say, well, I come for this work, sign me up. I come to do my work then as a school child. I find it was a great piece of work, which I will also take writing credits for because she husband, just how fair, and is the wife as the husband. So anytime that song get big, it's me, Kes, and Stacy on the song. I just let it be known. Zachary too, I forget him. I take in a little 25% who is me. So yeah, he went and he sang that as a guest in the competition, and it went down well. People had a good time in the school, and he developing a certain comfort singing in front of people and a certain bravery. And he do it again this year. He had two verses. He had two verses in Stalin's song "Black Man Feeling to Party." And while they had the competition and everything, the class was doing a Stalin medley. The medley, of course, in honor of Stalin, who would have also gone to Boys RC. They did a medley of Stalin songs, and when Black Man Feeling to Party, Zachary come out and take the mic and lead them through two verses and had the boys singing back up, and he had the little Stalin dance going and things. So salute my winner in my house. During the carnival, some little winners. Me and go salute more. If Bunji could put fair as he think, me and go big up my own son as winning something, he win and thing, but that my winner. And while I had to too, I want to salute the people in River. I tell you, I live in a place where it's the nicest place in the world to live. I need to stop calling the name of my place in here. But the community I live in is such a beautiful place. I want to salute a few people who brighten up my carnival with a old mass competition a few weeks before carnival. And they are all winners to me. So salute to people like Marisa and Leonise and all the people who's Fun for Kids Committee. Salute to Robert. We have a little band, you know. The boy Zola is on drums. Robert is playing guitar. We have our own little side. What do you want to hire we? The boy Steve shaking a marac. You know what I mean? Ruben playing keyboard. And I loved what they put together for the children in the area and the community here. And it's so nice to see different cultures and different backgrounds come together all the time to appreciate each other's culture and background. And I think that's something that a little community group here called Fun for Kids does. That's just bring me joy. Wherever they call me for, I go in and I go figure it out and we will do it. Because Zachary also performed this style in there, but they had some little youths like Darian, Tristan, Ruben who went and sing extempo. And they had a Lex Tempo thing that covered as much as a tribute to Stalin, a little battle between a midnight robber and the community. And you know, they write a song, Salute to Marisa, who writes a song basically with the midnight robber say, I come in to cause destruction and pain in this community. And then the other little boys come and say, boy, listen, you see, this area we like love and unity. Santi Manite. And it was so nice to see little children coming up and be at least experiencing that. Those are memories that they will never be able to shake, you know what I mean, as parts of their own upbringing and what will shape them as children. So all of them winners in my book. And salute to a little girl by the name of Riley. And I don't know Riley's surname, eh? You know I'm bad with names. But this little girl, this is the smallest little child I ever seen in my life. She's small in stature. And when we go on to rehearse, all we playing is a quattro and a drummer, but I play so soft because her voice and all small. I'm gonna write a beautiful song for her about the community. And just talking about how sweet Trinidad is, just like our little community here. And our community is a sweet part of a sweet country. Well written, well put together song. Salute for doing that for a little child who coming up in the art form. And I see her when we were rehearsing, right, I could see that this little girl is a star. Because when it's time to sing, she going into a focus mode. But she was just singing very, very soft. So I play soft and dancing. And I'm not sure if she would have been accustomed to playing with live instrumentation. So I play nice and soft and sing along with dancing. But her mom sent me a clip of her singing in the school. And let me tell you something. When the lights come on, that girl is a star. Because that girl's voice get big. When she go on that mic, she is in full control of her singing there and delivering her song. Beautiful song, beautiful delivery. Congrats to one of my winners for the season, Miguel Riley. And you know when you're bad in music, when you're so comfortable on a stage that at one point when Riley singing his song, while his song playing and thing, Riley say, oops, I made a little mistake. Me hear no mistake and the song going on good and Riley bring it back from it up there when you know he's a star. That is when you know he's a star. Riley cuss up people like how Nessa and them cuss up the Riley could do that too and mash up the whole stage and tell people come off here. But she didn't do that. She hold it together. You know what I mean? So salute her. That's what performances and performance is about. And I can tell you, if you could learn that at 7 years old and you continue with that, you have your 10,000 hours that Gladwell talk about, right? So I ain't know if I ain't going back to Nessa and them. Now salute Nessa. Nessa and the band makeup and them kind of thing. What are the winners we had to big up for this thing? But I talk about the extempo. I talk about freestyle, Bungie winning the road march, that's your corner. All the bands. the bands, right? Salute to Lost Tribe. Lost Tribe is deservedly and easily the band of the year, right? By my very drunken observations on the road. What I'll tell you is, you cannot tell any band from the other when you're going through town. When you walk into meet the band, when you leave your band, when you band meet band in the junction, and you see, you cannot tell any band from any band. As a matter of fact, I'm going to try to figure out a way to play in all the mass bands one year. Because them, I guess the band on your hand is what will identify you, but not the costumes. Them costumes is just call it naked mass, which I think important too. A mass is a fantasy. And some people fantasy is to walk naked in the road. And that is clearly met by Bliss, Tribe, Humor, Hearts. Who again to call? Ronnie, and listen, all of them, all the bands, maybe Ronnie and Caro is an exemption, but all them bands looking exactly the same. Them things have nothing to do with the costume. As a matter of fact, people don't even wear the costume like myself. I don't like that humor pants with big Y. I don't like that. I want to look good on the road and comfortable. I go wear my own pants. I ain't get my pants cut short enough neither, so I go wear my own pants. It's all right, thanks. But what we're really paying for is the vibes, the camaraderie, the people on the road. You get to stay on one side of the rope and you're getting free drinks and a little food and them kind of thing. I suppose that's what you're paying for on the road, and the experience and the music and all that. But the costume, I remember times where a band, like Stacey was pointing out something, I was just so I didn't even notice that the bands don't even section off again. You know, bands used to play in sections, not just on the stage. It came to the point where everybody intermingle, right? And they used to have to force people or encourage people to get in the section before they cross the stage because all the bands were crossing the Savannah stage to compete. Is my opinion that, well, I think it's pretty clear that Tribe, Bliss, Humor, it's still a fantasy. Them bands not interested in competing whatsoever. They don't care if they cross the stage. I'm not sure if the masqueraders care if they cross the stage. What I can tell you is I didn't cross no stage. I too old for that. They ain't gonna catch me, no heart attack with no young people jumping across no stage again. But that idea of competing, that is gone. So the need to section everybody off is meaningless to everybody. So when, as an onlooker, Stacey and them in St. James, the bands passed down the street by my mother. So they like the onlooking vibe and watching the mass as they pass and thing. But when everybody jumble up like that and nobody in costume and thing, it take the prettiness out of the mass. I mean, yes, the nakedness and the bathing suits not that creative anyway. But at least it could look real pretty when you see pretty women coming down the road and a whole section in blue and then a whole section in red. At least it's something to behold. But when it's just revelers, when the bands themselves turn into revelers. So what we've really done is take the mass on the road that used to happen on the pavement before. They used to call people on the pavement revelers, right? Because they're just reveling there outside the band. But what these big bands are now is just organized revelers. Monday it's nothing to see because everybody wearing different Monday wear and thing. There's nothing attractive about, well, it's attractive things about the individual, I can tell you that, but not about the band. It's nothing to look at. And then Tuesday people make so many variations of the costume and not sectioning off is very, very little to see. But what I can tell you is anywhere you went, you were going to see Lost Tribe, and you're going to, you don't have to ask nobody. When you see other people in costume, you say who you're playing with. You don't have to ask Lost Tribe nothing. You know fully well that they in Lost Tribe. So salute to Lost Tribe for winning Band of the Year. As in my opinion, they should probably win Band of the Year every year. I think we also passed the point of needing a Savannah stage as a judging point. So for instance, I hear Yuma had 5,000 people. I hear Tribe had a loud set of thousands. Bliss Stacey Tema was even bigger than Tribe. For the Tribe people, what is up with Tribe? How come all the bands split into on the road? I hear about bands split into between the 2023 and 2024 Carnival season. I never hear about no band turn wrong and start to drive in the next direction and the rest of the band going in. And I've never seen or heard about that before. So I know what exactly it is happening with Tribe at all. But when you're looking at the tradition of the Savannah stage, or what is becoming now the tradition of the Soca Drum, which coincidentally seems to be attracting more onlookers than the Savannah these days, or of late. It makes me wonder if those things necessary for judging, right? I think they're necessary because people still believe in there's still value in crossing the stage to masqueraders. Masqueraders like the stage and something is a crescendo of the mass. And then you hear the Road March song, which is another crescendo, so there's a certain euphoria. And I also think there's value in the tradition that where the person won the Merry Monarch and where the people won the King and Queen of Carnival and where maybe the person would have won extempore, all the crowns, all the monarchs or the winners or the rulers of the Carnival were on that stage. You cross that stage and you get to touch that stage too as a masquerade. Remember I tell you, we are Tazia O'Connor's subjects this year, right? That is the king. I think there's still value in that, and even the Soca Drum as a secondary point and downtown, which some of these big bands don't go to at all, but definitely there might still be value there, but I don't think there's value in them at judging points. If these bands are thousands of people, tell me which one easier. If you have 1,000 people in a band, and then you have 12 judges, which one you think easier to move around? Who should go to who? It's a little simple exercise in logistics. We have 12 judges, let me say. I don't know how many judges there are, but let me say there are 12. Let me say there are 20, right? And each judging point had 20. Do you think it would be easier if the 20 people move around and went and meet the bands? Or do you think it makes sense for the thousands of people who in each band to come to try to see the judges every year? I don't know. You tell me, right? I don't know which make more sense. Remember that as the thing. Just remember the extempo versus the freestyle competition. We always had to be trying to find ways to evolve. You know, remember the masquerader is the customer in this equation. The onlooker and the onlooker, what is called them? Like the patron who want to see mass is the customer in this equation. When the times change, we had to change with it and adjust what it is we do, and we keep some of the tradition. Yes, if we find it worth changing, but adjust that too. But before I get back to that, salute to Ronnie and Caro who take the Dong Tong band title, and I'm heading y'all's way. I don't know if I able with the Lost Tribe. No. Honestly, I don't know if I able with the Lost Tribe. When I see me in Lost Tribe, tell myself I give up completely on life. You know what I mean? I done. I finished. I see Lost Tribe on the road. Salute to Vanessa Thompson. Salute to Liz. I see them on the road, and listen, they identifiable and they look good. Their costume. I think Stacey was explaining to me the meaning of the band. I think they said the band was about I can't remember what the hell the band was about, but the section them playing was it rain or water or some kind of thing? So they have a story. Because when I used to watch Mass back in the day as a child, and you see Minchel, Rat Race was one of them that stood out to me. The idea, it had a big rat costume as the individual, which was portraying the rat race. And then the sections had people who were in the rat race. So you're seeing, like the other section with man wearing a kind of shirt and tie and briefcase and thing to say, like, you know, you're a part of the rat race. And that element of mass is missing for me because humor didn't even have a description. When I watch humor website, I can't remember the name of the band and what's the theme we had. But like the sections is just rogue. Or not rogue, that's tribe. What was my section name again? I can't remember, but it might as well be a random collection of words. Blaze, rose, you know what I mean? But I don't know. And I don't know that the costume I wear or didn't wear had anything to do with rose or like how does it translate? You know, when you work with great designers, forget mass for a while, right? Great designers are able to express to you what was the thought process going into the design. One of the best designers I ever worked with, graphic designers, that is a lady by the name of Ginger Henry. So coincidentally, that's Farmer Nappy's sister. I used to call her Ginger Nappy. She used to work with us before, right? And what Ginger used to do was we would go to meetings with clients, right? Ginger's a graphic artist at the time working by us. And we would go to clients and sit down, and I would be the marketing guy who gained all the information in terms of a creative brief from the clients in terms of what they want the brand to represent, who they what kind of brands they like, what kind of ads they like, what kind of logo they like, who they're trying to sell to. Are you premium? Are you trying to be bargain? Whatever it might be. And then we had to leave that meeting now and come up with a logo, right? I can't tell you how nervous I used to be in these meetings because when I sit down next to Ginger and Ginger is taking no notes whatsoever in the meeting. I mean, not trying to fight up to take notes with my crap over and write it. And I thinking Ginger is going to forget all this. And we're going to be in trouble when time to do this. Ginger's barely look like she's paying attention. She's doodling, like drawing in the book. And I ain't talking about drawing, but the man talking about Ginger drawing nothing. I said, well, what the hell is this? And I've never worked with any graphic artist before who Ginger only need one attempt to design what you described. And I'm telling you about that situation where I go in back in the office with Ginger. I had to approve the artwork before the client see it. And it's always a battle with me and Ginger when she had the art. I said, Ginger, this isn't looking right. I can't see this. I can't read the word properly. Like Ginger designed, if you know the store Swag and Brag, Ginger designed that logo. And I remember being in the office with Ginger and arguing. I said, Ginger, the swag, I could understand where you do that, but the brag is too curly. People can't see the thing. And boy, listen, Ginger is arguing with me. Ginger, I don't think Ginger ever changed nothing I asked you to change. Ginger's like, no, let's show it to the client. And let me tell you something, without fail, when we show that to the client, I ain't there ready to make excuse for why the thing poor. Without fail, every single client didn't just accept the artwork, you know. They were delighted, overwhelmed with emotions at times when she presented the artwork. And one of the things that made Ginger great is that Ginger could always explain to the client what was my thought process when I come up with this. Well, I get this vibe from you, and this is what I wanted to portray. So the colors here I use was to do that. So see how I use these lines here is to do that. And listen, in my mind, Ginger is making all this up because I don't understand design and that type of creative. I was like, Ginger is bullshitting these people. But let me tell you, some people lap up that and they go on with it and they love it. No changes, nothing to change. Let we roll. I love this. And a big part of Ginger's success is not just that she's a great designer, but she was able to tell the story behind her design. And salute to Ginger now because Ginger full-time job is to create wire bras and to go and look for Ginger wire bra, right? She bad on the road. The winner too, more winners. But that story behind the design is lacking from our mass now completely. Them just selling you is beads and it's tongue. Like they just decide here what? It's tongues, it's monokini, is this and that, is short pants, this way it is. It's no design, it's no thing, them running out of ideas anyway. So you're not hearing a story behind what they came up with and thing. I guess it's just to look pretty on the road, which call that naked mass, right? That have its place. I feel that is an important part of the mass too. People want to walk naked on the road, let them go ahead. But I was glad to see on Lost Tribe's website that they came up with a complete theme for the band. Wait, now I could just Google this. Why am I talking about this like if I can't find it here? They have a complete theme for the band and then a description for every single section. That like those clients that Ginger was talking to, you could connect with on a personal level and create something around your mask that is more of a fantasy than just being on the road for a little bit of time. You know what I mean? So if you go up, I mean, it's too much to read. But if you go up on Lost Tribe website, you will see a whole lot about the theme behind the mask. It's too long, sorry, but it's long. All that is why I can't play with Lost Tribe, because I love the idea behind the story and think me playing that, I don't have the story. I just want to know where my short pants is and where the drink struck at. But salute to Lost Tribe winners, Ronnie and Caro winners. I have a suggestion for Lost Tribe though. All they should do is when people pay Lost Tribe, all they should just send them a voucher for a whole bolt of cloth from Queensway. When you go by Lost Tribe, forget that collection process. When people pay online, just send them like Queensway for a bolt. Because listen, is a bolt of cloth. People have one man playing mass in long pants. As even I send them that costume, I tell you the thing is some kind of rain. Boy, it's rain. It's cloth falling all over this thing. Lost Tribe masqueraders have costume. This costume for this year could make a decade worth of costume for them. Them could play mass until 2033 with the cloth that they have from this. I want to know what always do that costume because I don't throw all them beads and things. Somebody from Lost Tribe could tell me, please, what always do with that cloth because I feel some all making bedspread, curtain, only covering or upholstering. Some people car. I guarantee you somebody in Lost Tribe take that Lost Tribe thing and reupholster their whole motor car. But salute to them. I mean, I have a wife who used to play mass and she make me come back out and play mass and she done with mass. But for the first time in many, many years, I hear her say she wants to play mass and is in Lost Tribe. Salute to them. That is hard to accomplish. And she's a tribe baby in this person. For her to consider anybody else, although this is under the same umbrella, for her to consider anybody else, that is a feat. And again, it's something that is beautiful on the road. And as much as I gave them a little talk and thing, you know what I mean? I had to give them some talk. But is something to behold when you pass Lost Tribe on the road and being the only band that identifiable and doing something different and playing an actual mass. I would love to see I would love to see more bands like that. More bands like that on the road going to make for a better carnival. And I'm not sure who will do it. And me playing in none of them. But more bands on the road like that would make for a better experience for both masqueraders and onlookers. And one of the things I want to throw there too, you know how sections have designers? It will be so great to see Minshall, who only tried to kill during the carnival for no reason whatsoever. I'm not sure what's the state of Minshall health or anything, but I'm using him as an example. I'm using McFarlane as an example. Even people like Rosalind Gabriel or Barkley, for instance. I'm not sure what's people's state, right? So I don't want to be insensitive, but it would be great to see bands like Lost Tribe, who I call Bliss and Hearts and Tribe and Human, all of them, call that Naked Mass and call the rest one, I call that Mass. That is real mass, right? It would be great to see a band like that or Lost Tribe themselves invite a designer like that and have a guest section that is designed by Peter Minshall or invite Rosalind Gabriel into the mix. Or what I mean is like genuine designers, or even Ginger, somebody like Ginger who's a young legend in my eyes. If you have people like that, or sticking to, I mean, Ginger is one, but if you stick to like Minshall and McFarlane and them, what you're creating is a piece of memorabilia, more than just a mass costume that somebody could keep for a lifetime. And you see, those are the things now that could start back attracting a genuine international audience, because these are people with international acclaim, and they're not accessible because they don't have their own band anymore or anything like that. So I just personally would love to see a section that is either designed by or dedicated to them or signed off by them, so that the masquerader in Lost Tribe, who clearly is interested in an elevated experience than just the naked on the road thing, has a piece of art or memorabilia that could not just be used for bedspreads and curtains and so on, but could become a part of the decor in their home or in their office or in their spaces. And you could say that I have a piece of art from McFarlane, or I have a piece of art from Minshall. I know Peter Elias was one of the guest designers. That's exactly what I mean. You have something that you could hold as a conversation piece in your home, because they will definitely attract a different crowd. As on Tribe already, I see Tribe make some apologies for their road experience and their pickup and all those things, which usually with Tribe, I mean, my 1 year with Tribe, that's some of the best experiences I had in terms of picking up costume and experience on the road in terms of security. My couple complaints about Tribe was that the drink structure was too high, the trucks is moved too fast. I'm too old for that. But that's a me problem. That's not a them problem. And the route was too long, and I was tired in Tribe. But Tribe is the only time I ever just stopped playing mass in the middle of the day. I was like, I going home. This too much for me. But the lunch stop was smooth. I mean, Tribe really had a good experience, and I saw them having to come out and apologize this year for a bad experience on the road, because apparently it was bad from pickup to what people actually got where their costumes were concerned, to the experience on the road where they're turning around in different places and them kind of thing. And I'm glad to see that, because I've Tribe down as a band who don't like to apologize. And Tribe like to pretend that their problems don't exist, I find. But I'm glad to see them come out and at least issue an apology to those who were offended and bothered. All right, this is going on for long. I didn't realize this. I thought this was a short episode. And let me go ahead and salute people who are the salute. Salute to BP Renegades. Before I tell you about my experience in the road and get out of here, I want to salute to BP Renegades and just talk about a few things where they're concerned, right? Renegades really sung on a level on the road, right? and in Panorama, sorry. Second was Exodus with Tourist Lego. I thought they would have won. And Silver Stars came third playing Engine Room. I'm glad Engine Room is on the list of winners here. That's my song of the year. But salute to Renegades. And the one thing I want to say about Pan in general, and let me talk about the small and the medium bands too. The small band, Uptown Fascinators, won, arranged by O.J. Richards. And in the medium band category, Cats and Jammers, who name calling in Panorama now, again, arranged by Kirsch Ramsey. Right? So they becoming a force. Uptown Fascinators played Dollar Wine by Colin Lucas. Cats and Jammers played Tell Me Why by Baron. Tell me why. That's a nice song to arrange for Pan anyway. But I always remember the name Kirsch Ramsey and O.J. Richards for a second, right? But let me get back to Renegades. Renegades beat everybody. And what I was glad to see this year in terms of schools panorama and the big boy panorama is that in both small or across the spectrum of small, medium, and large bands, and big name bands and smaller bands that might be lesser known, what you saw this year in Panorama is a lot of young people. A lot of young people who involved in it. So just to make sure, that I always feel like there's a good sign, and I always like to point that out when people tell me about Panorama dead and Calypso dead and everything always dead. Everything dead when you're interested in it no more, you don't like it, or it's not a tradition that you're accustomed to. It dead. They're killing the I don't like that kind of talking. But salute to Devon Store, to the one with Renegades. The Tourist Lego was Terrence B.J. Marshall as a legend on his own. And then again, in third place, Silver Stars is O.J. Richards and Kirsch Ramsey. So talking about young people, these two youths, the names starting to become prominent names in the landscape of Panorama, and it is worthy of acknowledgement for me. I know over time, but bear with me. Kirsch Ramsey is our nephew of Beverly Ramsey Moore, right? Who would be in charge of Cats and Jammers. This little youth man is between 27 and 28 years old. And when you look at large bands, medium bands, and small bands, his arrangements placed in all. I believe he win the small band category with East Side. And he win the medium category with Cats and Jammers and come third with he win with Uptown Fascinators. And he came third with East Side. So you're seeing somebody now who showing a certain amount of promise. At under 30 years old, a young fella as an arranger. And his name calling and placing in all the different categories with both big and small bands. And when you look at Silver Stars, compared to Renegades, All Stars, Despers, Phase 2, even maybe Invaders. I'm not sure if the pan people could correct me if I'm wrong, right? But Silver Stars might be seen as one of the smaller of the big bands. But with Kirsch Ramsey and them by their side, they seem to be doing great. Same with O.J. Richards. O.J. Richards might be a little older. If he's 28, O.J. Richards is about 30, 31. So I'll just pulling out from an article where he was quoted as saying this, Kirsch Ramsey. He said, "We are all good friends. O.J. and I are classmates at UTT, and they lime almost every day. Both of them born in Tobago. And during the pandemic, they would have come together and won with Silver Stars what was called the Unipet Ellie Manette People's Choice Award for what was the version of the competition during the pandemic, if I remember right. And I wanted to just take a minute to salute them. And at that age, to be achieving the things that they're achieving at that age, you know that you're talking about two people who are going to become a dominant force in the music. And I just wanted to take a quick minute to point out that both these little Tobagonian youths both passed through UTT. And I hope that helps me make my point about development of the art form and why I was spending so much time talking about Soca Monarch and these things not being good avenues for development. Development is come from places that design for development, like universities. So you could see that when they come through UTT, or salute to the people who in charge of the Carnival Arts program in UE as well, you're going to find that if you look through all the winners of Carnival, right, take all the people who placed and who did well over the Carnival, from designers, from soca artists, producers, musicians, look at all of them and tell me which part all of them come from. You're going to see a strong set of names coming out of both UTT and UE in terms of honing their art form and learning what it's about, learning the roots of it, learning and bringing their own version and their own flavor to it, and contributing to a carnival that we're not going to be able to come up with on our own if we hold on to it and tell ourselves that to win, you must always play and if you don't play that, you're killing the art form and you have to let go. One of the issues we have is that when we figure out something that works, we think that that same thing going to work for the next 150 years. And I think it's one of them things that it is actually never going to work, and it stifles everything. And that's why we go through these long lulls of carnivals where the music not good. Like this year, I don't find the music was great this year. When we go through lulls like that with Panorama, the greens empty and man going on swimming pool and all that, you will go through things like that if you don't constantly evolve. And by to constantly evolve, you had to hand the whole thing to young people like these two youth men. So salute to them. Salute to Renegades. Well, so let me just tell you about my experience on the road now, and we can get out of here because we're here long enough. Humor. Humor is my band. I feel like 2-3 more years in humor at most. If my wife coming out for Lost Tribe, at some point, as much as a bad talk, them are going to put Lost Tribe. Like, we play a little mass together. We usually play mass in two because she's a real tribe baby and I'm not. But we will play a little mass together at some point in time. But I'm going in my humor costume in Lost Tribe. I could be the most identifiable man in Lost Tribe because in a short pants without a jersey, and you go find me. But the experience on humor was good. Humor is always good. We went if mass starting 10, I like to reach at 10 o'clock, So I was there at 10. Salute my boy Pablo. It's been a long time since I get to lime and fete with Pablo. It's the first carnival in a while we get to lime together. And Pablo vexed with me. Imagine that when Pablo get a costume and thing, and I come to pick him up the morning to head on in town. Pablo asked me, where's Stacy? I said, oh, Stacy home. He said, ain't playing Stacy. I said, nah, Stacy don't play mass again, so He said, you make me buy a costume for my girl. I thought about a lot of veteran like Pablo. No, he's not supposed to carry no sand to no beach or no beach to no sand or however they say. What the hell is wrong with Pablo? Well, Pablo's girlfriend, Venezuela national. Come and play Master. I think she had a good time too. We reached out by the band early. I forgot that on Monday they don't give breakfast. So me ain't home looking to greedy all the people starting point. I find they should give me breakfast on a Monday. For full disclosure, the costume must cost about 4,000, maybe a little bit more than that. Or a little less, I can't remember. Oh, like give me a sandwich on a Monday morning, man. Suppose a man play Juve and he coming straight to play Mass. So let me make some sandwich and give people cheese paste or some kind of, you know, nothing else, corned beef, nothing. But this year, unfortunately, Yuma ended up taking a long time to leave the meeting point, which was Alexandra Street, because Tribe and Bliss and all them bands, Hearts, I believe, come across Tragedy Road the same time before Yuma push out. So we end up there for a couple hours. Well, we didn't leave. It took a long time to leave that spot, to the point where all we were able to do is come down Tragedy Road and drive straight to the launch spot in St. Mary's Grounds. St. Mary's Grounds is good for me because Fantasy used to put me in the middle of the savannah. I don't like that. And as a man need a 5-minute sleep. When you see I reach in the rest stop, most people need a little 5, you know what I mean? It's not a little sleep, it's be bad. But Yuma make some mistakes this year in that rest stop. The first one was they had one long line for chicken, like they had one line for chicken and one line for veggie. I could see the thinking behind it, because they probably thought you would line up, filter out fast to the different options for chicken, and then ride out and go and get your food. But that didn't work well. I expect them to change that next year, because what ended up happening is latecomers like me who like to stay until the last truck play and the last drink is available end up coming and meet a very long line. Like a good portion of St. Mary's Grounds was a line. That was nice to see. And I saw people in Tribe complaining about the lunch options. That is not something you will get much of a complaint about me. I can't eat a whole lot. I looking to drink. So once you have something with some meat and some kind of starch, I go eat that. Yes, and that is it for me for the day. So the lunch wasn't really impressive. I'm not sure about the lunch options either, because you know me good enough to know I go and make a friend in the front of that line and bob all that thing and hand somebody my chit. As a matter of fact, I think I still have all my chits, because nobody ever asked me for no chit when I was taking lunch, neither Monday or Tuesday. But that one long line was bad. I remember going to the back of the lunch tent. I was just looking for shade, right? Because I don't see Inkson and them, and I tell them, hey, what's going on? Well, you collect my lunch from me, because me and I end up in that line. You know what I mean? So I went back in the back of the shade. I don't play them hot sun games. And I saw a lady, she told me she's from Texas. When I say lady, a young girl, and almost younger than me in her 20s or something. She said first time she playing mass. So I was always being tried. I asked her, well, what make you come here? She's not from Trinidad at all. I've never been to Trinidad. But she says she have friends here and they always go every year and it's so great. And she decided to come. And, you know, she lost all her friends. So she did by herself. And she said, I don't know if I could do this again. It's too hot and this and that. But the reason she was behind the tent was she was trying to get one of the people attention because she's a diabetic. So she couldn't take that long line. She needed to eat quick. And that girl take that food, and as they hand her it, she sit down right behind that tent out in the open there and just start eating. So I think it's things that you had to pay attention to sometimes. I mean, hospitality in a mass band must be a hard thing to manage, but it's something that you have to pay attention to, because people have different sets of needs on the road and that kind of thing too. And the other mistake they make was them people put renegades in the middle of the lunch stop. Listen, that was a bad idea, because then I chip into renegades for the whole hour. Me ain't no sleep at all Monday. I catch myself Tuesday because I ain't going through that. That's not me. I don't want to hear no renegades, but that renegade, I'm talking about one float. And that drummer is a beast. But that one float, full up that St. Mary's Grounds and make that into one of the best experiences I've ever had in a lunch stop. Because even if you're sleeping, like Tuesday, I sleep for the whole hour. But even if you're sleeping, you're getting that pan in the background and think, boy, listen, that thing is song so sweet, boy. It's time to bring back pan side on the road and think. I don't know if people understand how welcoming that would be. Even in the naked mass or in a lost tribe, you just get one float, a pan side to pull along with you, boy. Even for a stretch, boy. I have some ideas on what I want to do with that, you know, because we had to create an experience where, like this podcast, we can mix the traditional with the modern. To let people know where they come from. But that was a great experience on Renegade. I mean, sorry, that was a mistake putting Renegades there and man can't sleep. But no, Renegades was great. And they play songs from the road too. I had to beg them to play Black Man Feeling to Party. I said, but only win with that and only playing that. But They play from what was the voice song? Tell them pass the rum. And listen, them youths on that floor, they vibes. They play Engine Room, they play Nyland Skinny, they play Hard Fet, they play Truck on the Road. Boy, listen, Renegades was bosses. That was a real nice touch by humor. But Ole, I need to sleep. Ole can't be doing that. That is bad. In terms of music, the DJs on the road, that same argument coming up over and over about last year's songs versus this year's songs. Let me tell you something. There's no music in no part of the world you will go ever where you're going to hear 100% new songs in a place. I don't know what people talking about. People just talk about this like DJs, only we want to hear the new songs. And then, okay, if you want to hear the new songs, come the fed early. Because like in Jamaica, for instance, when they want to hear new artists, brother, I remember a selector by the name of Ricky Trooper talking about this. Ricky Trooper say, listen, when you see nighttime coming in a place called Bembe Thursdays, he say when you see nighttime, or was it Footer Hype? Could it be Footer Hype? We in Bembe Thursday, and of course, them days, man, coming to hand you a flash drive and thing to play the song. And Footer Hype stopped the music. I said, let me tell you youth something. He said, let me tell you some more music. You see, when you come here, 1 o'clock in the morning, and man come to drink and enjoy themselves, and bar had to sell on them thing, that is not the time to come and hand me no flash drive with no new song for me to build. He said, if you're really interested in building your song, reach Bembe Thursday when they now string up and people now start to come. And when people now start to come and they hear your song, or the DJs who they're earlier looking for different things to play because them can't beat out all the start time music, they will discover your songs and play it. And the people who reach early might get to hear your song and like it and then start requesting it. He said you have to build a song. He said, but everybody wants to be a star. So what you want is to hear your song in start time. And his point wasn't just that he's not playing it. You know. He said that's not going to work for you. Because you will play a song in start time. Everybody go hear it and you go feel like a star and you'll put it up on Instagram and them kind of thing. And then it will die down. Because he ain't properly built the song. And it's the same thing. I do not understand this notion that people say, play the new music, play what? Whose responsibility it is to build your song in this day and age? A streaming where you playing your songs directly to consumers. You don't need radio anymore. You come in to tell people that I must go a fete when I pay 1,000 something for a Fatima ticket or $800 for a cooler fete by Soca. Or I pay what breakfast is charged, maybe 600 or 700 or whatever it is, and I reached it 10. I reached late. You want me to sit down and listen to a song I never hear before? When it's jamming time and I had 2 hours in the fete, and all these birds are the umbrella up in the air and rain falling. I want to listen. I want to play a song what I know, not just song that I know, song that I like, song that I want to move to. I will admit that hearing this year's songs is something that could be special to a fete or a masquerade. Because let me go back to Jamaica, for instance. One of the things I used to really like is when I hear a new song play, I used to go in the club to hear when they play that new song. But that is because the new song done big already. It don't have space to do that with 100 songs. That is talking about one song. So when I remember particularly when Movado and Cartel was going back and forth. Maybe just after the thing. And Movado had dropped a song. Oh, never talk. Man, a stepper. Catch up me a play. Man, a pepper. I was like, I had to go Asylum Tuesday. I had a silly reaction. Or when they sing, my place, your place. I had to go Asylum Tuesday. I saw an interview recently with a producer by the name of Not Nice, I believe it was, talking about what happened in Sting and how Cartel record the song, The Boy Run Like a Wounded Dog, Brock you say in record, to run. He said they record that before they went home from Sting and they played the next day. See that? When I hear that, you want to go a party the next day to hear that. You cannot do that with 100 songs. That is one special song. That's an outlier. So the idea that I must go a fete and endure a set of brand new song, which frankly, not good. The music this year was cruise ship music. Plenty little song that all right, but you don't want to leave home to hear that, fete. You know? So, and I was getting annoyed on the road by only hearing, as much as I'd like Engine Room. Maybe I could have taken on hearing that all the time. But the one that started annoying me was the Ding Dong. We wanna drink and party whole day. They play that whole. I don't know if it's because the song a whole day in it, but it's whole day here in that song. I mean, when you head bad and you're jamming, you ain't studying nothing, but they really play that song way too much. Slow McGill Sadie and her family was playing mass, and I was talking to her sister, brother-in-law, I think it was, when we came home Tuesday. And he is not from here. I think he's from Jamaican. And he was saying, listen, you see that hearing the same 5 songs over and over? I can't play mass again for that. You know who I feel will be affected worse by that? People who go to watch thing by the Savannah, or who watching thing by Memorial Park, or is Adams Square? Or in the Soca Drum. They're going to be hearing the same songs over and over and over. That must be the worst time ever. They must just feel like there's torture. So you obviously have to play songs from last year and play songs. You know what's the sweetest part of the mass for me? And I just say salute to 2 DJs in particular. You see DJ Charlotte, because as a man like to find Alicia the Duchess, you know what I mean? That's from fantasy days. But like, she don't play with humor. Because Alicia the Duchess is my age and she's played for people my age. But DJ Charlotte was real good at keeping the vibes going and keeping the tempo. No such a fast song and then a slow and mashing up the vibes and the thing. DJ Charlotte was real good. But you see them youths who has talked about without Voice Thursdays or Vibes with Voice or whatever the hell the thing is on a Thursday. I was by a truck with Penny and Papi. And Penny was good. Penny was just like Charlotte. Them was playing music whole day and people was having a good... The masqueraders around that truck with Penny and them, the vibes never drop. It was having a good time all day. Whether the truck stop and we stuck in one place or we moving, them fellas and them reading the crowd right and playing good music. It's not about this. I don't think them was concerned with this year music or last year music or what. Them is big DJ. Big DJ ain't only to bust no song. Big DJs come in star time and play stars. You could tell me people like Skrillex and Diplo and them, or they could go and tell them about play. If them choose to bust a song, them choose to bust a song, and them choosing to bust a song because they know the song big and they giving it a highlight. They cannot bust 100 song. So star time is for stars and them play music, people enjoy themselves all day. But I remember we had just passed Lost Tribe. We was coming down Damien Street, the corner of Damien Street and Mukarap Road. We turned there and we bounced up Lost Tribe. And then I joined back the band. I kind of meet some friends by Lost Tribe and then I joined back the band when they reached somewhere by Ishi's there. And Papi went and played. I can't remember if he was playing or, but he have an old school. It have some young DJs who have some old school style I like a lot. Papi is one. And you know who's one too funny enough? That youth man who's play with the young brother. You know, I can't remember the man name now. It's not a young man, you know. Let it bear with me. It's not a young man. I forget what I talking about while I talking about it and thing, you know. Hottie, DJ Hottie. DJ Hottie and them know music. Them and there's no zest on they know different genres of music and they know old school music. Them know good music. And Papi is one, but you know what Papi play coming by Ishi's there? That man starts a little session and play I do song like the Baron for your in, and people, the whole thing lift up because you get so fed up of hearing the same songs, the same feel, the same rhythms, the same. It's like, boy, when people, I see a woman singing along with us, a young girl, and I say, how you know this? She said, boy, what you know about that? You know what I mean? And after that is, this is not a fit in here, this is mad. You need that. So this idea that they must play only new songs when only 10 of the new song good, but I see people arguing that plenty more than 10 good and it's the DJ's fault why nobody know this song. I feel if nobody know your song, it's the artist's fault. Going back to the road, what's happened, boy? I feel like you might see band cut off Big Mike, you know. And I'm glad. Because when I see the comments, Big Mike, for those who didn't know, Big Mike crossed the stage with his 6 masqueraders in Legacy, including the whole NCW and them squad, which he gave a free costume to. They crossed the stage as a small band, you know what I mean? But I think he was vexed for that. They said the drink truck was in a wheelbarrow. Sorry. This is Big Mike. Big Mike is a legend, right? Salute Big Mike. Big Mike is a legend. No disrespect to Big Mike. But the reality is that Big Legacy is no longer a big band. Legends was a huge band, just like Tribe and them or Poison and them. And it changed to Legacy when Split happened. Legacy was a big band for years. And I was glad to see that under the comments when he made his rant, a lot of people came forward and said, well, Mike, this is what you used to do people all the time. You used to cut people off. You all used to go on the stage and stay forever. All you never used to follow the rules. How come all of a sudden you done with Canaval and people doing you thing? And he calling a man name in the midst of the thing. I sure there's something personal with them. But it's nice to see the NCC come out and apologize and say it wasn't deliberate and whatever. I hope whichever band cut him off if it's humor, they apologize and work out the thing with Big Mike. And I hope Big Mike started playing with Lost Tribe and cover himself up. Big Mike, you're 75 years old. You cannot play no Naked Mask no more. But again, even like Naked Mask that way, like it's very old. You know what I mean? 70s, ball just swinging low. You know what I mean? It can't be taking a Naked Mask and you playing Hulk. You look like no Hulk. You know what I mean? But anyway, humor seem to have broken the route, if you ask me, because when I watch the route for every, I'm not seeing a route for this year Carnival, but when I watch the route for every year, you really shouldn't go up Abercrombie Street and come across Keith Street behind Sapper and then cut up by Memorial Park quick. But I think that they might have done that because, I mean, we really had a tough time on Monday waiting for so long for the band to move off. So I think Humor must decide they're not sticking Tuesday. They're just going to keep the band moving no matter what happens. So unfortunately, I ain't get to pass through St. James. I usually like to pass through St. James and see my mother, my wife, and my son, and Jalea, and the whole squad there is be waiting to see the band pass down. But we never passed there. We went straight down to the Soca Drum. And like I say, I ain't cross neither stage. You know, I take it in Häagen-Dazs. Häagen-Dazs was open, the one by the Savannah. I went and sit down in there and drink a cup of coffee. When that band turned to the Savannah, I'm not going back through that, boy. Where the place hot, it's no drinks truck and no. And then I'll go and gallivant myself on the stage and give myself heart failure. I now do a ECG the other day. I think my heart good. Me trying to go through that, no? I sit down in Häagen. I was so hungry. All they have is sweet thing. The lady in Häagen, that was so nice. You know, she went and got a little bag of Pelori for you, boy. She said, all right, don't worry. I'll go and get some Pelori for you. I eat some Pelori. I drink a cup of coffee. And you see when they come back out by TGI Fridays, I'm bad as a masquerader again. By the time they reach Soca Drum in the night, I just walk across. I was so glad I ended up by the last truck. And we just walk across the Soca Drum stage because all the music trucks had leave already. And I just take a cool, nice walk. And a wave, you know what I mean? According to one of the DJs on the road, when he was passing one of the judging points, he said, all you have manners in this band, wave at the people who come to see all you pass and I wave. And I keep it moving. By Tuesday night, maybe 8, 9 o'clock, I was on my way home. And the one thing that I feel could be a deal breaker with me and Humor, and I was just saying this before I wrap up this episode. It's a long time I didn't record for this long. But Humor, this is the second time I found myself on the avenue with no security, no rope security, and no in-band security or extraction team. Well, every time I tell people it's be 4,000 or whatever for a costume that I don't wear and for pieces that I don't wear and all them kind of thing, and to drink the same thing as always drink and to eat a little bit of food on a Monday and Tuesday. People say I'm wasting money and what could I do with that money and whatever. I like mass and I paying for the experience, but one of the key things in my experience is security. And I am very drunk on Carnival Monday. I drink way too much. I'm maybe deliberately, so that's my 2 let loose days for the year. So picture this, right? I'm a man. So if you want to picture this for any other gender, you picture it, right? Because Humor has a lot of genders playing in there. I mean, there's more than 2. So I drunk and I'm naked. And I had to have a phone on me, which I think everybody would have. And I had to have some kind of money on me, which I think everybody would have, right? And I end up on the avenue where there's a lot of people. Most people you will see as onlookers is on the avenue. And there's the same thing that happened last time Mass play where the extraction team is the biggest set of gangsters it have for the whole day. They pushing through the masqueraders all through the band when it looking like to me like nobody around, right? But I mean they're doing their job, right? So let me not complain about that. But when we cross the Soca Drum and we come back up onto the avenue, which is the busiest and the riskiest place if you ask me because of how many people there's nobody. When a mass band pass and they have plenty people on the side, people just join the band. So now you have all sort of people. I'm not trying to say that people in the band not dangerous, but people on the streets dangerous, but I'm just saying there's a higher risk. And one of my issues is that I play in mass with some people who have very important jobs. Forget me, right? They have very important jobs. And their trajectory is facing upward. So year after year, they are going to become bigger and bigger in the corporate world in Trinidad and Tobago, and by extension, higher and higher profile people in the landscape of Trinidad and Tobago, right? There's this fellow's trajectory. And that's my mass squad. And I think it's extremely unsafe when you have people who high up in organizations that are they're in very big organizations in this country and they're high up in those organizations. It is extremely unsafe to have them drunk and naked with no security in sight. I feel very worried. Both times I left on the Tuesday night, I said, boy, let me head. If I have no security, let me walk out of this pool of people who may be good little targets and walk on my own. So that if something happen, it's just me and I could figure myself out with it. If I had to run, I run. It's not a stampede and them kind of thing. Because I'm not just talking about people being targeted, you know. Or like if I ain't talking about two people who them is big rich boys and high profile people and we need all this sort of security because I have valuables. I'm talking about just plain stupidity, which could happen in large crowds. Ridiculous, stupid things could happen. Like I was walking, coming back past Fatima on Mukarapa Road on Tuesday night where the place dead. And some people just throw out some champagne bottles onto the road. Not to break in, they slide them out onto the road. Just for cars to drive. You know, a champagne bottle of a level of glass that is going to puncture. That's not a beer bottle. That's going and puncture your tire. And I don't want to get no confront because my first instinct was to say, boy, let's chop it out. I talking about some girls, you know, a set of girls and maybe 4 or 5 girls and 2 fellas. And I want to say, boy, let's fools. Why would you do that? Everybody come to have a good time. You sliding. I said, boy, Corey, don't say nothing. I went, as I think discreetly, I went in the road and I take up the bottles and I put them on the side. Before I could even reach out in the road, a bus drive over one. If that pop now and break and take, anyway, something like them old people, like I tell you, like I know. But not just being targeted or anything, just plain stupidity by people. I have a next partner who was supposed to come to play mass with us. Who, you see what them fellas are telling you about with them heading, he done there already. He's at the most senior level in a global company that is globally recognized. He's the only black person that have in the whole senior team in the company. Imagine he had come to play mass and something happened to him on a Carnival Tuesday because humor rope security disappear and the extraction people disappear. So you're just on your own. If that is the case and they have a time limit on this thing and security just finish at 6, let me know this finish 6 o'clock in the month so I could finish playing my mass and head where I had to head. I find that serious matters. I don't like that at all. It makes me very, very uncomfortable. And as my partner was telling me, he says he feels so glad when he see police walk through the ban. Police walk through the ban a few times because it's a scene for mayhem. And I think the police should address that with those bans. Because if those bans selling security as part of what they sell as a $4,000 package, don't give the police so much of work to do. Where the police now had to be trying to fight up to see who they and who in the police can't tell who have ban versus who or who in the ban versus who not in the ban. I suspect the police just basically trying to make sure that nothing happen or present themselves as a preventative measure to make sure that nothing major ain't gonna happen here on our watch because any incident where you have 5,000 drunk people and men who drive in truck whole day and tired, anything there could turn into mayhem. But all in all, I ain't going on a dong note. I know I'm bad at doing that sometimes, but you might probably see in my again next year. I just know that when Tuesday daytime come to finish playing my mass and heading, I'm not going through that. I'm also not going through that after party in the Oval, and I'm too old for that. If I finish on the road there at a certain time, is for me to head home, and I feel like I'm getting closer and closer to whenever the band reach St. James and reach by my mother, that is when my mass finishing. If it's 10 o'clock in the morning, a good time for me to go home, pop my old foot. Remember I had this surgery and thing? I played the whole Tuesday, my socks bloody, but I play and I enjoy myself. Salute to everybody who was involved in my foot getting back better. I was able to survive the 2 days. I was worried about that. I thought I had a day in me. I thought I paid double for a costume for 1 day. But I had the 2 days in me. So Yuma probably seen me again. I enjoy it. I think the vibe in Yuma is real good. The squad a little young. But once my old boys could keep up with the young squad, we did. But we heading fast towards Ronnie and Caro. But listen, I have all here for real long and I appreciate all you tuning in the special Carnival wrap-up edition. But I could talk to all you later. Bye.
descending, the moon is approaching, and the crowd is gone. It seems like nobody is interested to carry on. Well, this time is like a wooden shack after a storm. Not a band nor a mass is around to perform. All I can see is some broken old bottles so far. An indication the Canaval is over. That music that sounded so terrific, I would like to know. The sweet, sweet saxophone, the pan and the trombone and so. What is wrong? Like the tourists and all disappear. Not a clown nor a buck can be seen anywhere. Can't hear the sound of a drum or a bass, a guitar.